Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Great to be with you. Thanks for tuning to it. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything, but if you do, go back, get caught up at your leisure. We'll post all 3 hours of the program on iTunes, where if you get the opportunity and you'd be so kind, you can rate, review, and share. It helps others find the show. You can also go back and catch up if you miss portions of the program. We'll post it to the website, ESPNTallahassee.com as well. You can email JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. You can also check me out on Twitter at JCameronShow. You can use the WTSM app. So many ways to connect. And hello, YouTubers. Hope you're well. Damn right. Damn right, that is worthy. Even though we're a better team, even though, you kind of, I guess you can't say you're shocked that Florida State won on the road at Notre Dame, you still can, along with me, engage in a hearty choo-choo after that win last night, because that was once again a program win, a culture win, a celebration of what they've built, who they are, and why you love them. That's what that was. That's sure, MJ hit some big shots, and what can you say about Trent? And we can go on, right? A lot of guys to point to, a lot of guys to praise, a lot of people to celebrate. But I look big picture today, less at about the X's and O's of that game. I will talk about that, of course, too. And more about what they are and why they're beloved. And what they've become and how they've shifted the narrative surrounding Florida State basketball. The way they're viewed now. I'll give you a good example, too. I was talking to somebody who's not a Florida State fan just yesterday. In fact, they don't like Florida State. They went to the University of Florida. And so you could say they're a rival. Good guy, friend of mine, and hard to believe, I know, right? But they exist. There are some good Gators out there, and he's one of them. And he's objective, even though he'd rather see Florida State lose every time they play. He can talk about the team, or he can talk about really any of the sports and be objective, whether we're better than they are or they're better than we are or recruiting, whatever it might be. And he said, I really wish you guys would move on from Leonard Hamilton, because I like that guy a lot. And he said, and it's hard for me because I don't like to see him lose. I think he's a good man. I think he cares about those kids the way that we want all coaches to care about our own kids, right? And I think he's good for the university and the community. And he said all these nice things. And he said, so it makes it difficult because then I watch you guys, as he put it, and I find myself kind of rooting for you. And I can't do that. I don't know why I'm doing that. I hear myself literally clapping after a made basket for Florida State, and I'm thinking, what are you doing? Because that's what he's been able to accomplish. That's the way he affects people. And I think that's accurate. I think that you root for him, you root for that coaching staff, and you root for these kids, in part because we're Noles, but also there's something bigger at play here. They really have built the kind of culture and reputation and program that you can be proud to be proud of. You can be happy to endorse, that you can celebrate those victories, both on and off the court. And it's recognizable now to many people that are beyond the fan base. You see it in the way that the team is now talked about and covered by many of the experts on ESPN and other networks that cover college basketball or write about college basketball. They're just easy to root for. And it's games like that. It's the kind of mental and physical toughness they display on a regular basis, the heart, all that stuff, the strength that they showcased last night in a game that wasn't going their way, in a place where we've not won, period. We haven't won. We were 0-3 in the Purcell Pavilion. All three losses had been in double digits, by the way. And with 10 minutes left in the game, it certainly looked like that futility would continue, did it not? It did. But MJ Walker got hot, and we rallied down the stretch, and we get the last second basket from Trent on a putback, and you could in many ways say you steal the win. 73-71 in a game in which you led for 19 seconds.
19 seconds. And, yeah, MJ's first points in his personal 13-3 run started with 8:41 to go in the second half. That's a three-pointer that he got from the corner. It's a good pass. And then he hits a straightaway three. He has a cold-blooded finish around the rim. He's just so clutch. And I know that, it doesn't exist in the eyes of people who believe in analytics. But I think in college sports, either you're big enough to handle the moment because you're still maturing as a person, or you're not. You're Buster Posey, or you're not, right? And MJ has hit a bunch of big shots for us. It's not just last night the run he goes on. He hits these all the time. And I'll be a broken record through the end of the tournament, even if he has a bad night, which is coming. That's what his career suggests. He'll have a bad night. I want him taking the big shots because he's not afraid to. And he's hit so many of them. He's been positively reinforced so many times this season for being, big enough to take the mid-range jumper, to take the spot-up three-pointer, to create his own space to shoot the three, the corner three, to get to the rim and finish. He was just phenomenal last night. And I know it's about Trent. That's the larger story of play because Trent finishes the job, and Trent is being honored on Saturday. And get there early on Saturday before the 4:30 tip to honor Trent Forrest for his career at Florida State. But MJ set the table for us, and that cannot be lost because what he's done from the beginning of this year to now,
he's transformed himself.
Unbelievable.
It's exciting, Tough Love Cameron had to ride MJ Walker for a long time. And, I don't want to take credit or anything, but his hard work has clearly led to a difference, a different-looking player, that's for sure, and the numbers bear that out. He's shooting better than he ever has from beyond the arc and otherwise. And his confidence has grown, his ability to get into the lane and make baskets. Used to be a turnover machine when he got into the lane. Not anymore. He really has transformed himself. He deserves a lot of credit.
Well, and he was into it in the first half as well. This isn't he caught fire in the second half. He got the second foul, which was nonsense, and he was put on the bench. But he had 5 points at the time, and he looked like the person who was ready for the moment the most in our group. And he's gone to the headband of late. The headband is the signal that times have changed, and that Devin is a go-to guy. Trent, obviously, is a go-to guy and a closer. But if you need a big shot to break a run, to change momentum, I want 23 shooting the ball.
I think I think the thing about the team that I like so much is that that's true. Sure, MJ shooting the ball doesn't bother me, but I feel good if Devin rises up to shoot it. In late game situations, I feel very good about Trent with the ball in his hand as well. They've got a lot of ways to beat you. You've seen some guys. I mean, would you be upset if we were in a scenario in which we needed a three and the ball moved around the perimeter and Polite caught in rhythm and went up to shoot? You wouldn't. You'd say, okay, that's a good shot. That's a good shot for him. He's not the first guy I'd choose, but the point is they've got a lot of guys to choose from that when they let the ball go, you don't go, no, what are you doing? There are some that I would say that about, but there are several guys on this team that, quote unquote, can get their shot. And you know what that is. And you know what that looks like. And if they're in rhythm and that's their shot, you'll take it. I mean, listen, if the ball kicks out to Raquan Gray as he's coming across the timeline and he's able to just catch and shoot from beyond the arc, you feel good in rhythm about that shot.
Yeah, straight on.
Straight on.
Yeah, the closer it is to straight on, the better I feel about the shot.
You feel really good. Yeah, I do too. So there are a lot of guys on this team and a lot of ways that this team can beat you, and they have found so many ways to do so. And I think, again, the mental toughness and the togetherness that they display that makes us want them to win and root for them more because they're fun, they're likable, they seem to care a lot for each other, there's an unselfish nature. All of that, you see it all the time when they're trailing. And it's why you believe in them. You just know that there's gonna be a run. They're gonna keep fighting. They believe in one another. Something good's gonna happen, and they're gonna get back in it. They always do. And that first half, Notre Dame's shooting the lights out. They got a lot of good looks. We seemed a little slow. We weren't getting beat off the bounce in the same way that we did against Clemson. But just good looks from beyond the arc. Notre Dame is 15 of 27, and they're 7 of 15 from beyond the arc, and they're 5 of 5 from the free throw line. They're hitting shots. They're a desperate team. They're at home. 9 o'clock tip. You got to survive that. You got to survive all of those things that are momentum-wise going against you. And they do that, and you knew that they would. Now, I didn't know that they were going to come back and win the game, but I didn't put it past them. I didn't say they couldn't. I didn't turn the TV off and go to bed. I realized, who are we talking about? We're talking about this group. This group has always got some son of a bitch in them. They're going to fight.
It's not illegal to get out in front and lead. But, if we're down, it doesn't matter. 10 points in the row. How many times have we been down double digits in a game, or especially on the road? And how many times have we at least answered the bell to take a lead briefly, if not outright win the game? I mean, it's what they do. The first half was tough because Hub hit everything, literally everything. And the one time he missed, he went to the line to shoot 3 free throws. And then Mooney, he's somebody, you'll live with Mooney taking a shot from the perimeter.
Yeah.
You don't want it to be wide open, but that's what they do. They run Leonard said it in the postgame. They run great offense, and they take 25 seconds off the clock, and you feel like you've done a good job in the half court, but then there's the kick out to the wide open shot. And they're hitting these shots.
Their offense is set up to find the three-point shot. I mean, it's what they do. It's how their offense runs, and they recruit players to assist them. Bray may not be there much longer to do it because for as much as we can praise the looks that they get themselves and the efforts that they do to get that open look, they don't win games. They don't win close ones. They've lost every damn close game they've been in this year, it seems like, and thankfully they can add to the ledger after last night. And I'm pretty sure that everybody in that arena, and certainly several of the people who cover that team and write about that team, thought that team was going to close the deal and win the game last night. It certainly looked like it was going that way. But I will say this, when the second half started, we go back and we look at those shooting percentages for Notre Dame, and we look how Florida State is playing defensively and maybe being best described as a step slow to be down 42-35. But Vassell scores on a steal and a layup, followed by a step back jumper, and all of a sudden it's 44-40. And you're like, okay, all right. Message was received. They've ratcheted up intensity and focus. Your best player gets out there and makes plays and sets the tone for the second half. But then, the Goodwin kid answers with a couple of three-pointers. You're like, really? Okay. This is pissing me off.
Right, it was his turn because he scores 10 quick ones to start the second half while Hub and Mooney have cooled off.
Yeah, and it's 52-41 with 16 minutes to play, and then we're trading baskets, and I'm thinking we can't afford to trade baskets, and that right around that time, Vassell gets a three-point play, but Notre Dame responded, and now it's 61-48 with 10:04 to play, and we've got real problems. And yet, that's when MJ Walker did what we just described, and there's a whole lot of what for in what he did. And, think about at the time that happens, Tom, and I know he had to go to the bench like you described, but he had 5 points, and then that's it. It's on now. 0 shot attempts, 0 rebounds, 0 assists, and 1 turnover in the second half prior to that thing. And it's in him to do that, but I do think he's sort of representative of what the team is. There's another guy always on the verge of stepping up when one of the other guys isn't playing very well or isn't having a great night. So I get excited about watching this team and rooting for this team, and I don't want the season to end without pointing to these kinds of moments and celebrating them, because no matter what happens moving forward, now obviously it would be tragic if somehow on Saturday they were to stumble and throw this all away, and I don't think they will. I just don't see a way that they lose to BC. But short of that tragedy happening, they're going to win the ACC's regular season, and that doesn't go anywhere if you get bounced early in the tournament. And I'm not trying to preemptively make excuses, but the tournament is kind of a weird deal. We've seen it where you have a great run in you, and it comes unexpectedly, like the year we went to the Elite Eight. But we've also watched teams who had magical seasons, 30-plus win seasons in which they won the regular and tournament crown, only to fall flat on their face, literally, in the first game they played in the tournament, meaning Virginia 2 years ago, 1 seed, first ever to lose to a 16 seed. And it seemingly, at least in the national media's eyes, and certainly I would think in some people's eyes that cover and root for that team, undid all of that good, but it really doesn't. It doesn't. And when you haven't been, now it's disappointing, it's devastating, it's separate. It's a separate talking point. Yes, if you lose early in a tournament, it's, especially after having a magical season, when you're a 1 seed, you've earned that. To go not make the most of that opportunity is devastating, no doubt. But it doesn't erase the season you just had. It changes the way you view it, though, and I understand that. So while you're in it, while you're going through it, while you're winning these games and you're having magical nights like the night we had against Louisville, and while you're enjoying these experiences of watching one really tough basketball team find a way to get up time and again and win a basketball game that seemingly on the verge of getting away. Don't take that for granted because, man, that program, the basketball program that we now look at as likely being a 2-seed, an ACC regular season champ, a team of significance for the 4th consecutive year, yeah, that team, that program, for a very long time was an afterthought in this community. It was an afterthought amongst alumni and fans everywhere. It was not a team that had legitimate expectations going into any season virtually ever. So few were those opportunities or these kinds of moments in this basketball program's history that we all, not even having to be a historian really, could name the specific seasons that Florida State did something other than suck. And now here we are. Now we look at that program and we know they're going to the NCAA tournament. It's an afterthought. Yes, you're going to the tournament. It's a matter of whether or not you're going to be a 4-seed, a 3-seed, a 2-seed, a 5-seed. What kind of seed are you going to be once you're in the tournament? That's a different talking point than we used to have. Not only that, the narrative has shifted so much that when you talk about that basketball program now, you recognize maybe midway through the season that they're already in, and we start talking about which players are going to go to the NBA. We talk about which players can be a member of the All-ACC, the All-Conference team. We talk about which players that Florida State is recruiting can come in and add to the ledger of victories and appearances in the NCAA tournament and maybe make a Final Four run. It's changed so dramatically that because there are legitimate expectations, you get nervous when talking about how well they're playing because now you have something to lose. There's legitimately something that could be taken from you that would hurt because the expectations are that this team and this program is a perennial power in the best conference in America, albeit this year it's not, meaning the conference, and that they should, because they have each of the last 3 years, make a nice little run. Hopefully one day that all culminates with a run to the Final Four and maybe even a national championship, ideally. But that's where we're at. You're watching that game last night and you're thinking, man, guys, you've worked too hard. You've played too well. This season's been too magical to throw away the opportunity to win the regular season title by losing 2 straight on the road to Clemson and Notre Dame. That was going to be frustrating because we had done everything right up to that point. We had won all the close games save for Duke, and that was on the road at Cameron on short rest on a night where we were clearly a bit of an outlier ourselves. We couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. Still only lost by 5. In a lot of ways, it was booing. So, you thought to yourself, here it's slipping away, and that's a shame because these kids have worked hard and this coaching staff has done a great job, and they deserve better. They should be able to hoist something to celebrate the kind of season they've put together. And really, a reminder, that season kind of came out of nowhere. What I mean is, we knew this would be, in all likelihood, another year in which they made the tournament. They had enough talent coming back. We knew Devin Vassell was special. When Trent Forrest announced he was coming back, you knew you had the experience in the backcourt that would help the younger players along. And you thought, okay, well, they'll probably get to the tournament. But that was about all we thought. Like, at best, they'll get to the tournament. Now it's shifted to where they could win the tournament. It's not to be overlooked. It's really something to be appreciated.
Well, and while you're reminding us of the realities of how quickly it can all go away, just 40 minutes of basketball and one bad night or afternoon and you're done, the one thing I'd say is this to kind of pump up our hopes a little bit. I've been pounding the table, believing personally that the ACC is better than it's getting run for because of what they did in the non-conference slate. I believe a lot of these teams have progressed, gotten a lot better between December and now. They don't get rewarded for it in the net, obviously, because you can't play interconference matchups the way the schedule is laid out. You play all intra-conference matchups. Once you get into the conference season, that's it. I mean, the SEC and the Big 12 do it a little bit later than most other conferences, but that's about the only opportunity you'll see it. I believe the ACC is a lot tougher than the nation does and the computers do. And if that's the case, with what we've just gone through in this gauntlet, we are so prepared for the tournament. We're so ready for the moments. If the ACC is as down as the computers think we are, or as a conference, well, then maybe there'll be an upset earlier that's in the making because the conference, by and large, the curve is lower. I don't think so, though. I don't suspect that. I think Notre Dame's a really good team. I think Clemson, obviously at home, is a beast.
Yeah, at home, I don't think they're a beast otherwise. I think they're kind of an average
team. The computers hated Virginia for a long time. I don't think anybody wants to play Virginia right about now. I think this conference might not be as good as it was last year or the year before, but I don't think it's the dregs the way the computers think it is, where you can't even get a quad one win against a 500 team on the road. I think we're a lot better than the computers think we are. So I think Florida State is very battle-tested.
Oh, there's no doubt they're battle-tested, and I don't care about the computers so long as we earn ourselves a 2. If you get a 2 seed, you are sitting pretty down in Tampa. Life's good for you. You've got a situation in which you've earned and created the best possible path to the Elite Eight. Now, then it's anybody's ball game at that point. Obviously, you're going to be playing
Hoping
great
to get
teams.
paired with San Diego State. That's
Something like that, probably. Who knows? I do cast a jaundiced eye towards San Diego State as well, but
you can still lose that game, but the options, I think that's where we'd like to be matched up.
Sure. I like that there's now something to lose. I like that expectations are sky high. I like that he's built a program that we're proud of and that wins. It's not just like we sit around here and go, yeah, well, we graduate all our guys. I mean, that's important. It shouldn't go unnoticed. But that's usually what a lot of people say when their team sucks. They fall back on our kids go to class and they don't get in trouble and they all graduate. Good. Do they win games? No, they don't.
Yeah.
Our kids do all of those things and win a ton of basketball games. And that's something you can be really excited about. And, by the way, Florida State sits at 25-5, 15-4 in the ACC. It ties a program record for most regular season wins, 25-6 just last year, obviously. Continues to add to the record of most ACC regular season wins with each one of these that we garner, and we're going to get another one Saturday. Record-setting season for a team we thought would just, quote, make the tournament.
How many times have we done that in the last 4 years?
Oh, it's over and over again, man. It's so fun. It is. It's been a renaissance. It's been something to behold, and it's to be shared and enjoyed and celebrated and talked about because, again, Florida State does not commit the same resources to its basketball program that the Blue Bloods do to theirs. It's not a fair fight. They would say the same about our football program, and they would be right. If you're Wake Forest or you're Duke or you're North Carolina even, you would say, well, Florida State has had a vested interest in winning football titles, and they were all in before us, and they did what they did with their stadium before us, and they cared deeply to win, and they invested their funds accordingly. And that's why it's go nuts time if they upset the football program, because they know it's not a fair fight. Florida State's got better players, better facilities, better coaches. They always have, by and large. And in basketball, we always know when basketball season rolls around, the opposite's true. You watch the Dukes and the Carolinas and the Virginias, and you see their arenas, and you see the investments that they've made in basketball and how that's their priority one sport and how much they care about that. And you think, well, we're at a distinct disadvantage. Not only do they have the historical cachet that we do not, they have an administration dedicated to seeing those programs be great and win, and they put their money to that end. The recruiting budgets, the travel budgets, everything changes when you're all in. So when Florida State does what it's doing now, that is to say, win the ACC and a 20-game league schedule, it is nothing short of remarkable. And there is no other way to view that. There are certain things that you can say about this program, this being one of them, that is absolutely unassailable. And that is that they overachieve. They've outdone basketball programs who've invested way more money and resources into being great than Florida State has. That's the definition of overachieving. Florida State has done that time and again now under Leonard Hamilton and his staff. And over the last 4 years, they've been as good as anybody in this league. It's simply remarkable.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
I can handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
For everyone listening right now. Practice your bowling skills, compete, and have fun. Whether you're a newbie, an all-star, or a beer frame champion, no matter how you roll, you'll find the best place to bowl is at Hangar 38. Hangar 38 is home to over 75 arcade games, so they're sure to have something for everyone. Zeppelin's at Hangar 38 is a premier, full-service restaurant and sports bar, and it's also your place for birthday parties and company outings. Tallahassee, what are you waiting for? Come on out to Zeppelin's Hangar 38, 6668 Thomasville Road behind Walgreens.
Hello, Tallahassee. This is William Barnum Floyd. We've got a lot to look forward to in 2020. A new year, a new football coach, another shot at March Madness. The stars are in alignment. So why not treat yourself to a brand new car from Kraft Nissan? It's the time of year when Uncle Sam really acts like your uncle. Don't take your hard-earned tax return to a dealership looking for a used car. You'll be sold a car with high interest rates and no warranty. I guarantee you there's a better option. Would you buy anything used if you could get it new for virtually the same price? Of course not. Go see my good friend Chris Kraft. It's a fact that their New For You program puts tons of people who may not have the best credit, into brand new cars. 3 out of 4 people who apply for Kraft's New For You program end up in new cars, and the payments are often less than you'd pay for that old used bucket. So treat yourself and your family to a new car this year. After you get your taxes done, go see the good people at Kraft Nissan. Show them what your refund is going to be, and they'll show you a new car that fits your budget. And when you get there, tell them Bar None sent you.
A Kraft Brothers dealership.
Parker Services, comfort's just a call away.
Hello, I'm Roy Parker of Parker Services Air Conditioning and Heating. I've been in this business for over 30 years and can't even begin to count the number of home comfort systems that have died way before their time. The number one reason by far is lack of maintenance. Proper maintenance will, without a doubt, add significant life to your system. That's why we at Parker Services encourage you to consider the purchase of one of our peak performance service agreements. It includes up to 28 points of service, priority service, 15% savings on services including duct cleaning and repairs, plus many other benefits. We can't make it run forever, but Parker can extend its life and improve its efficiency, which will keep you comfortable, healthy, and help lower your energy costs. And when it's time to replace your outdated system, we'll provide you with the expert guidance, the best value, and the best equipment.
222-7722. Parker Services, comfort's just a call away.
Well, would you look at this goodness? Our friends at For the Table Hospitality are doing the right thing per usual. It's time for the 4th annual Tallahassee Wine Mixer and Mozfest. Tallahassee's best wine festival is back for another year right there in the shadow of beautiful Doak Campbell Stadium. The date is Saturday, March the 7th from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Centrale Pizza, Parm, and Bar. VIP tickets are just $60 and feature unlimited wine sampling, unlimited charcuterie, ooh, fancy, unlimited mozzarella cheese, oh, forget about it, this is good stuff, unlimited games, and a commemorative glass to boot. 2020 is going to be the best Tallahassee wine mixer yet. We'd certainly like to thank our friends at Visit Tallahassee for all of their help. For tickets, go to eventbrite.com and search Tallahassee Wine Mixer.
The temperature is cool, but the DeWalt deals at Cornerstone Tool & Fastener are heating up. Before you buy a DeWalt kit somewhere else, make sure to stop by Cornerstone and check out their $100 instant rebate and ask one of their knowledgeable staff members how you can add an additional bare tool up to $150 value for free. While you're there, check out the latest DeWalt FlexVolt 60-volt technology, taking cordless to an even higher level. Cornerstone has the largest DeWalt selection in Tallahassee. 2 locations to choose from, 1110 Stuckey Ave and 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Tallahassee location open on Saturdays from 8 a.m. until noon.
A little peek behind the curtain for the people listening to this commercial. Before we started to talk about the goodness that is Gordo's, I asked you, is this your 20th year? And you said, oh, nay, it's the start of my 25th year.
Yes, Jeff, that is correct.
25 years kind of means you ought to run for something. You're kind of the unofficial mayor of Tallahassee, sir.
All I ask is that you follow us on Instagram.
We're trying to have a genuine moment here, Eddie. I'm saying that you are kind of the unofficial mayor of Tallahassee. You're a guy that everybody loves. They cross the aisle. They shake hands. They meet the great Eddie from Gordo's.
Nobody cares about that, Jeff. Follow us on Facebook.
No, Eddie, I think they do care. They care about the people who care about the community, who take care of the people who live in this community and their kids and sponsor their baseball teams and serve delicious, authentic Cuban food.
Hey, guys, if you love the food at Gordo's, please go on your favorite place and give us 5 stars. If you think it sucked, stay quiet. Don't tell anybody. Thanks. Have a great day.
I've turned you into a damn ad machine, Eddie. I'm ashamed of myself.
Drink Pepsi.
The Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. Big store pricing with local service. Online at ctf.nu.
By the way, this is what we got last night. Let's take a look at the big picture. Results of the other 3 ACC games played last night. Virginia, hideous. 46-44 win at Miami. Setting basketball back a century. But that's what they do, and they do it better than most. Clemson followed up their last second home win over FSU with a weak effort at Virginia Tech. 70-58 over the Tigers for the Hokies. Despite their postseason ban, Georgia Tech won their home finale 73-57, beat down a Pitt, and the Panthers have dropped 7 straight to finish their ACC regular season at 6-14. Thankfully, it's over for them. One of those wins over us again. Weird. It's crazy how the officials love to give them 57 free throw attempts as if they're sort of a cherished commodity in the ACC, something to be protected.
It did get a little dicey towards the end of the first half last night in South Bend. It did. We had a lot of plays around the basket that I thought, my God, you're allowed to what, 5 fouls? Is that just like there are no more fouls after you get to 5?
Can't get to that.
Is that the rule?
No
here?
more? That's all it is? So let's look at these standings. Florida State sits atop the ACC, 15-4, identical record to that of Louisville, who's 15-4. We swept Louisville, emphatically. We lead the ACC. Louisville is 24-6, and there's a big game against Virginia coming up.
We got manhandled.
Duke is 14-5, and Virginia is also 14-5, followed by the Cuse. And look at there. Look at Georgia Tech at 10-9, ACC. All we have to do, and you know this, is beat Boston College, who are 7-12 in the ACC. They've lost 4 straight games. They're not exactly coming in here on a roll. Florida State plays really well, is a good team, and it's at the TLC-CC where they are, in fact, undefeated. As noted, the only undefeated home team in the ACC this year. And they will be the regular season champions at 16-4, regardless of what Louisville does at Virginia. There it is, in a nutshell. Now, something to look ahead to in terms of the potential ACC tournament bracket. A Louisville win at the JPJ combined with a Duke win over North Carolina at Cameron Indoor Stadium would drop Virginia to the 4 seed at 14-6. Louisville would win the head-to-head tiebreaker with Duke at 15-5 for the 2nd seed, with a potential semifinal matchup with FSU looming on the horizon. Given what Virginia is and how they play, it would be best if the Cavs, if we had to face them, to me, it would be done so in the finals or not at all. So, you're going to want to root for Virginia, hold your nose, to win their home finale against Louisville on Saturday, which would create a potential 3-way tie at 15-5 between Virginia, Louisville, and Duke, and the tiebreakers would then give Virginia the 2 seed, Louisville becomes the 3, and Duke becomes the 4.
It's not quite Lou Holtzworthy. I followed you all the way through there. Didn't you say, and don't you want another crack at Virginia with Patrick Williams? I kind of do. I know that I am not amongst many that feel that way. I really feel like we're a different team with Patrick Williams, and he didn't play in that game, and we narrowly lost that game. But in truth, Virginia's also playing a lot better now than they were when they played us too. So. Well, we're good for about 3 or 4 buckets around the rim now with the pass over the defense to Dom.
Yeah,
he's not going to dunk it ever, but he's getting better.
Just in the nick of time, right? As for the race for the 5 seed, interesting to note that the 2 teams currently at 10-9, Syracuse and Georgia Tech, both finish up on the road this weekend. Syracuse is at Miami on Saturday. Georgia Tech's at Clemson tomorrow. While the 3 teams at 9 and 10, NC State, Notre Dame, and Clemson, all finish up their regular seasons at home. NC State Wake on Friday, Clemson's against Georgia Tech on Friday, and Notre Dame and Virginia Tech on Saturday. So if the home teams in those 5 matchups all win their regular season finales, there will be a 5-way tie for 5th place at 10-10. And while Georgia Tech doesn't get to play in the ACC tournament, their resume does factor into the tiebreaker. It's complicated. The 5th seed could potentially meet up with FSU in the ACC tournament semifinals. That's why I'm telling you this. So it's something to keep an eye on.
Oh, you're not going to go into the provisions?
No, I'm not going to do it.
Well, I don't get the bring the ink home.
Oh, man. By the way, you think Notre Dame took notice of Wyatt Wilkes? Yeah. There was no space in the 4 minutes that he played for Wyatt Wilkes. They were like, no, ain't happening again, pal.
He had one chance, and he decided to dribble towards the basket, and he let go of an air ball floater.
Yes.
And that was the end of the night.
You have a seat. Balsa's not playing much these days, by the way.
He did get some minutes in the second half, though. I just find it interesting.
No field goals, no field goal attempts. He did have a singular rebound.
He also had a key deflection. When we fronted the post, there was going to be a feed to Mooney by the basket. That's a sure, if not dunk, layup. And he comes from the backside, and he gets his hand in the way, deflects it, turnover, Florida State. So there was a play. He made a play.
Balsa, your rep is here. He's producing the Jeff Cameron Show. Raekwon Evans had 2 points.
Steel Enterprises, LLC.
Along with a rebound in 13 minutes, Patrick Williams did struggle on offense. I aforementioned Patrick Williams with just 5 points on 2 of 7 shooting. Missed both his 3-point attempts, 1 of 2 from the line. But, like I always say about him, he did grab 7 boards. He had 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 block shots. He's always effective. He always makes a difference in a game.
One of the assists was a killer oop to Osborne.
Yes, it was.
It was in motion by the free throw line. He lets it go, and it's a perfect feed. He still needs another year, though. That's what that line tells me. Needs another year.
You know, Tom, I'm glad you went there because we know that the parents of these young men often listen to this here program, and we know occasionally sound bites get back to the kids. And, Patrick, I have really invested in your future. I've watched you from day one. I've been duly impressed. You have been a young man that has turned heads in this conference and amongst Florida State fans. But it's also clear that there's a little rust on your game. There are some elements of your game that need to be polished. And they can best be done here. Creature Comforts, the TLC in the basketball facility amongst Florida State faithful. That's what you need, another year of seasoning.
Science says that most people don't win the lottery. But you can, Patrick.
Yeah.
You can win the lottery with one more year in Tallahassee.
Perhaps a dominant year.
Can be yours.
Could be. So let's go ahead and make that decision now. Perhaps make the announcement. We'll put it to rest. We'll move on. We'll think about what can be next year. All while making a great run this year without worrying about your departure. What a beautiful day. That's where we're at. By the way, Raekwon Gray chipped in 7 points on 1 of 5, 4 of 6 from the free throw line, though. 2 boards, a team high 3 steals. Okay. Devin Vassell, 13 points. We know about his game, and we know what MJ Walker did with 21 points, 16 of those bad boys coming in the second half. Woo! Woo!
He wasn't cold in the first half. It was just foul trouble.
Yep.
Second call was nonsense.
50% from beyond the arc. My man MJ. Way to go. Didn't even have to leave the game and go back to the locker room for 10 minutes. Way to go.
Man.
Tough Love's here, baby. I'm always lurking. I'm here. I'm right there looking down the hall at you.
Yeah, you're like Leonard walking through the doorway
That's
in
right.
that video last night.
I'm looking at you. You don't sleep on me, MJ. I'm here for you.
And I'm here to tell you about our signature witch, the Wicked. Why call it the Wicked? Some say it's wicked tasty, some say it's wicked large. One thing's for sure, with oven-roasted turkey, ham, pepperoni, roast beef, and bacon, as well as your choice of 3 cheeses, it definitely takes you from wicked hungry to wicked happy in just a few wicked good bites. Only at Which Wich Superior Sandwiches.
On Wednesday, the Wicked is just $5. 5 meats, 3 cheeses, $5.
Mark your calendars now for another great event from Jerry's Famous Cigar Shop. It's the La Flor Dominicana event on Thursday, March 5th from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Cary Forest Parkway location. Come meet Master Blender Tony Gomez of La Flor Dominicana and snag some unbelievable deals and special event-only cigars. Don't miss the La Flor Dominicana event this Thursday, March 5th from 6 to 9 p.m. at Jerry's Famous Cigar Shop on Cary Forest Parkway.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Not all law firms are equal, so here's why Fonville Lewis Mesher McConaughey was recently voted Tallahassee's best law firm. First, we only take real cases. If your car was barely bumped and you think you're going to get rich, we're not the firm for you. We limit our practice to serious cases with legitimate claims. Second, we only take cases involving real injuries. If you know you aren't hurt but think you can fool your way into a quick settlement, we're not the firm for you. We encourage our clients to heal up and get better, not sit on the couch and expect a windfall. Third, we don't want clients who are just in it for the money. If the very first thing you think of after getting hurt is calling pound something or other on your cell phone instead of calling 911, we're not the firm for you. Your health should always come first. And finally, we won't blow smoke about a big money outcome just to get your case. Other firms overpromise and underdeliver. Our only promise is that we'll work harder than anyone to get you the best result. Remember, the law firm you have representing you makes all the difference, so don't settle for less. Call Fonville Lewis Mesher McConaughey and let us put our reputation to work for you.
Barry knows cool, he's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool, you can put him to the test.
You can't protect against everything life has in store, but you can sure try. When you turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air, we help you protect your investment with regular maintenance options that can keep your system safe. Receive same-day service when you sign up for the Total Comfort Service Program at baranoac.com. Florida license number CAC 1816186.
Who's ready for the best wings in Tally and locally brewed beers? Hobbit American Grill is the place to be. They've been voted Tally's best wings again in 2018. Hobbit offers Bingo Mondays, happy hour all day Fridays with craft beers on tap from all the local breweries. And the Hobbit is your home for all the UFC fights with plenty of high-def TVs for everyone. Be on the lookout for the food truck coming soon with the best lip-smacking wings in town. Hobbit American Grill, celebrating 40 years of serving great food to great friends for good times. For info on their hours and 3 locations, visit them online at myhobbitonline.com.
This hour of the Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by Jerry's Cigar Shop, 2810 Shara Road and 2910 Cary Forest Parkway. Online at jerrycigarshop.com. Seminole headlines.
Kids, go see Angel Heart.
No, don't see that
Not
ever.
kids.
Not
Not
anyone.
kids. Well, I mean, I call people that are in their 20s kids.
Okay.
So, yeah, if you're over 18, see Angel
Don't
Heart.
see it. No.
Although it's a dark movie.
Oh, you think?
But it's great. I love it.
No,
It's
there's
messed
nothing
up.
good about it
Yeah,
at
but
all.
what do you...
No.
I saw it
when I was 11 or 12, and I'm never seeing it again.
Why
it
were you
scarred
watching
me.
that? What kind
Well,
of parenting was going on in your house that you were watching
We
that
had
movie at 11?
a Blockbuster Video, and I was allowed to just rent movies and
But
watch them
why
during
they,
the summer.
First of all, it was rated R. Why they
Did
let you rent
My
it?
sister got it.
Oh,
My
okay.
sister got it.
Yeah,
So-
that's not a movie for an 11-year-old.
Oh no,
Scarred you, clearly.
I know.
What about this? When he eats
Yeah,
the
yeah.
egg?
No,
when
hey,
he eats the
what
egg?
are the questions?
When he eats the egg. De Niro's a good.
He's a good.
In that movie?
Yeah.
Did you pick up on it early that who he was?
No, I was 11.
Tuesday night on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Redemption Thursday, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. Got a do-it-yourself project that needs to be finished? Cornerstone Tool and Fastener, 1110 Stuckey Avenue in Tallahassee and 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Online at ctf.nu.
Florida State has finalized its new leadership structure for its football recruiting operations. That, according to head coach Mike Norvell. He announced that today. Chuck Cantor is the Seminoles' new director of player personnel. Adam Van Clay is FSU's assistant director of recruiting operations. And Kyle Pulick is the program's new director of creative media, which these days is really important. The trio joins Director of High School Relations Carlos Lachlan, which we've talked about before, and Director of on-campus recruiting Charity Grady. Quote, I'm fired up about this group of leaders we have brought together to coordinate our recruiting operations here at Florida State. With Chuck, Adam, and Kyle alongside Carlos and Charity, we have established an incredible set of talented people who are passionate about helping Florida State succeed and understand the type of student-athlete we are going to bring into our program. Recruiting is a vital piece of any program, and this group is working to ensure our future is bright.
So I just tagged you in a tweet.
Okay.
Live on right now on the air.
Look at that,
with Kyle's graphics. He worked for Nevada, put some awesome graphics together, and that's important to the kids.
Yes, it is.
That if they commit to Florida State and they're 4 and 5 stars and they got to show it off to all their friends, then they want cool graphics. And it's just the bells and the whistles, like uniform photos and all that kind of stuff.
Tom, I just retweeted your tweet to me.
Oh, you did?
Right here live on the air.
Oh, my God.
Gave you a little bump.
I need the followers, Jeff. I can't do it. I can't put my head on my pillow with fewer than 9,000 or 10,000 followers. I'm not worth enough.
I'm here for you. Hence the retweet, Tom.
It matters greatly to me.
I know it does. So I wanted to state publicly and emphatically that I retweeted your tweet.
Thank you for the benevolent Cameron Show bump.
You're welcome. Goes on to talk about Cantor, Van Clay, Pulick, all those guys. And the Noles are obviously approaching the first spring under Norvell and will host the Garnet and Gold spring game on Saturday, April the 18th, also known as April, at 5 p.m. in Doak Campbell Stadium.
Hey, Prill, how you doing?
Tickets can be purchased, of course, including a post-game concert with Joe Party and Runaway June. Sorry. Yeah, you can go to Seminoles.com, all that good stuff. So here's what I'll tell you. I don't know a thing about those three guys, but I love the way that Norvell talks about all of his guys.
They're iconic, man.
Yeah.
All of them.
He's a salesman through and through at all times. It's awesome.
Yeah, well, that's like the clip from the other day. I should isolate that for later with Chuck when he asked about Chuck Oliver, when he asked about James Blackman.
Yeah, well, they all got to compete. And, yeah.
Well, they all do, yeah.
Yep, here we go.
Can we save our time here?
I know what you're about to say.
Can I ask you a different question?
Yeah. I'll pretend I didn't ask that.
What's your favorite color?
It makes me laugh. So, I don't know. Hopefully this director of, I mean, it's funny that I come back to this of all things, but I was looking at basically the media stuff because it was so disastrous the last few years where we were all it was so cringeworthy at all times.
Oh, so
MLK with
MLK's,
receiver's gloves on.
He's wearing the Vapors. Really?
I mean, just so many
Happy
moments.
MLK Day to you, too.
You're like, what? What's going on here? I never liked being held aloft by the nation as something to be made fun of.
Is there going to be like a giant Chief Osceola flag atop Iwo Jima?
Let it fly.
Happy Victory over Japan Day.
I'm welling up. Look at that Knoll flag. Look at those soldiers. Yeah.
Probably in poor taste.
Yeah. It was an odd choice. But that said, that it is important these days. The kids, you see LSU's team. Holy moly. That's what you do right there.
That person had a coworker who didn't like him and knew, well, you know what?
Yeah, do it.
This is what you get.
Do it.
It looks great.
It's perfect. Send it out. All of our platforms. I'll retweet it. Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough
MLK with the Vapors, huh? All right. Bold choice.
Why don't you paint some muscles on him and have him wear an FSU tank top, too?
Like the new release ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Put an old cap on his head.
Cross promotion.
Yeah, it'd be great. They'll really see you working overtime. So anyhow, that's an important role, and all of these are, and I don't, we'll have to do our research. I am excited about this. Tomorrow, I will be attending, as will Tom, and many other members of the media, a nice luncheon with the coaching staff and some players, which is also always good, and I'm excited about that for the reason that I've mentioned before. We get an opportunity to talk to players. They are wide open over there these days. It changes really everything about how we can cover the program and the information we can provide you. Student athletes and coaches are going to spread out around the room for further interviews, and they'll do on-camera, off-camera, all that stuff. We got the 11:45 lunch tomorrow. Varsity Club, Mike Norvell is going to talk to the press to open that luncheon. Afterwards, there are on-the-record conversations with coaches and players. The players that are going to be there tomorrow it's a good list. We got both of our guys that we asked for, but Cameron McDonald, who we asked for, Joshua Kando, who we asked for, and then the others that will be there will be Marvin Wilson, Tamorian Terry. That's not shocking. James Blackman is also going to be there, and Nazrul Dean will be there. So Hamza will be there.
Hopefully he's doing well. Obviously, with development, he could be quite the player at either the linebacker level or the defensive back level. I'd like to see how he's going to plug and play. And tomorrow, it should be noted, is the eve of spring practice.
Isn't that nice? 9 a.m., I believe, on Saturday.
It's going to be a chilly one. Oh, yeah, buddy.
Dropping into the 30s tonight, I believe, right? All right. The last vestiges of winter remain. Well, we really didn't have a winter, my man.
But if you live in a dump of a town like South Bend, it's going to be there for another 4 or 5 weeks.
It's for months while you're watching your NIT basketball.
Well, at least you have a home game, though.
That's
maybe it's going to be close.
Likely be a home game for you to celebrate the NIT.
Work
Wasn't that
to be
long
done.
ago that we had to celebrate with the ding-ding? Last night when that Trent Forrest putback went in, I heard my man light up a smoke. Ding, ding.
He got the contract.
What's going on, South Bend? I'm coming to you. Ding, ding, indeed.
Hold on to your rosary beads.
Chugga, chugga, here I go. Chugga, chugga, here I go. Chugga, chugga. Is he smoking cigarettes? It's fun to do that to others, to send the ding, ding, the trolley to other cities.
I think it's got newspaper on the seats.
Yeah.
So you can sit in a clean spot.
Cigarettes in each pouch in the seat in front of you, though. You're good to go.
Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
Planning on expanding or renovating your home or business? Did you know that these construction projects start with preliminary work such as professional sets of drawings and proper engineering? Before you apply for financing or sign a lease agreement, allow our team of contractors, architects, and engineers to assist you with planning and budgeting. Hello, I'm Travis, owner of T-Spark Enterprises, and I am here because we want your project to launch on the right foot. Call us today and we will take care of your construction needs. We aim to provide work that will exceed your expectations, guaranteeing picture-perfect results.
Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
License number CGC 1525336.
Hello, Tallahassee. This is William Barnum Floyd. We've got a lot to look forward to in 2020. A new year, a new football coach, another shot at March Madness. The stars are in alignment. So why not treat yourself to a brand new car from Kraft Nissan? It's the time of year when Uncle Sam really acts like your uncle. Don't take your hard-earned tax return to a dealership looking for a used car. You'll be sold a car with high interest rates and no warranty. I guarantee you there's a better option. Would you buy anything used if you could get it new for virtually the same price? Of course not. Go see my good friend Chris Kraft. It's a fact that their New For You program puts tons of people who may not have the best credit, into brand new cars. 3 out of 4 people who apply for Kraft's New For You program end up in new cars, and the payments are often less than you'd pay for that old used bucket. So treat yourself and your family to a new car this year. After you get your taxes done, go see the good people at Kraft Nissan. Show them what your refund is going to be, and they'll show you a new car that fits your budget. And when you get there, tell them Bar None sent you.
A Kraft Brothers dealership.
With a Bojangles 3-piece Chicken Supreme snack, you get a plate of bold, boneless chicken and a hot, fluffy, made-from-scratch biscuit for just $3.99. Or, if you'd rather 2 pieces of bone-in fried chicken with a biscuit and a fixin', don't you worry, because that's $3.99 too. It's such a good deal, you can knock out dinner and balance your budget in one fell swoop. Because if you're going to take out 2 birds with 1 stone, they ought to be delicious. Bojangles, it's bow time.
Wahoo Seafood Grill, Tallahassee's leader in fresh seafood, is located right behind the Best Western on North Monroe. Lunch specials start at $7.99. Be sure to try their award-winning house-made burger. Big lunch parties are also welcome. Wahoo Seafood Grill makes lunch specials a very affordable choice. Delivery is available and plenty of parking. Wahoo Seafood Grill, easy access from any part of town using I-10. Visit them online at wahooseafoodgrill.com or call them today at 850-629-4059.
Hello, I'm Roy Parker of Parker Services Air Conditioning and Heating. I've been in this business for over 30 years and can't even begin to count the number of home comfort systems that have died way before their time. The number one reason by far is lack of maintenance. Proper maintenance will, without a doubt, add significant life to your system. That's why we at Parker Services encourage you to consider the purchase of one of our peak performance service agreements. It includes up to 28 points of service, priority service, 15% savings on services including duct cleaning and repairs, plus many other benefits. We can't make it run forever, but Parker can extend its life and improve its efficiency, which will keep you comfortable, healthy, and help lower your energy costs. And when it's time to replace your outdated system, we'll provide you with the expert guidance, the best value, and the best equipment.
222-7722. Parker Services. Comfort's just a call away.
Well, would you look at this goodness? Our friends at For the Table Hospitality are doing the right thing per usual. It's time for the 4th annual Tallahassee Wine Mixer and Mozfest. Tallahassee's best wine festival is back for another year right there in the shadow of beautiful Doak Campbell Stadium. The date is Saturday, March the 7th from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Centrale Pizza, Parm, and Bar. VIP tickets are just $60 and feature unlimited wine sampling, unlimited charcuterie, ooh, fancy, unlimited mozzarella cheese, oh, forget about it, this is good stuff, unlimited games and a commemorative glass to boot. 2020 is going to be the best Tallahassee wine mixer yet. We certainly like to thank our friends at Visit Tallahassee for all of their help. For tickets, go to eventbrite.com and search Tallahassee Wine Mixer.
This hour of the Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by Jerry's Cigar Shop, 2810 Shera Road and 2910 Cary Forest Parkway. Online at jerrycigarshop.com. Rattler Review, hosted by the Tallahassee Democrats' Rory Chirac, every Friday at 6 p.m. right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio, Tallahassee's sports monster. Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Studios, this is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
I'm Kevin Winter. Championship week isn't until next week around college basketball. However, there are some tournaments that are getting underway this week. Quarterfinals of the Mountain West Conference Championship Tournament are in action. And how's this? Number 9 Air Force taking on the top seed in the Mountain West, San Diego State. The Aztecs 28-1. They're one of the 4-1 seeds according to Joe Lunardi. They're the 1 seed in the East region. But at the half, Air Force led by 4. Right now, midway through the second half, San Diego State's lead over the 9th-seeded Falcons is only 5, 52-47. Could this be the beginning of the madness? Steph Curry returns to the lineup tonight for the Golden State Warriors after missing the last 58 games with a broken bone, a broken left hand. Curry going to be on a minutes restriction of 24 to 28 minutes for the Warriors, who play host to the Raptors. Celtics Marcus Smart fined $35,000 for his actions towards the referees following Tuesday night's loss to the Brooklyn Nets. Round 1 of the Arnold Palmer Invitational. No Tiger Woods. Rory McIlroy 6 under, 66, leads by 1.
Wendy's has breakfast now. We're talking fresh cracked eggs on every breakfast sandwich. Yep, it's going to be America's favorite breakfast. They just don't know it yet. Download the Wendy's app for deals on your new favorite breakfast. You up for this? See you at Wendy's in the morning. Available at participating U.S. Wendy's.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Redemption Thursday, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. Got a do-it-yourself project that needs to be finished? Cornerstone Tool and Fastener, 1110 Stuckey Avenue in Tallahassee and 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Online at ctf.nu.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks for tuning to it. Still basking in the afterglow of a victory on the road at Notre Dame, in which, rather improbably, Florida State mounted the comeback in an arena they had never won in and had really not had much luck whatsoever when you think back on it. So many games up there in which Florida State has fallen and fallen convincingly, but this team does have a toughness to it without question, and they are eminently likable because of it. They're also skilled, and that shouldn't get lost in all of the conversation. It's that they're a good team. You know, it's weird, Tom. One of the things you and I have discussed, and I said this to you this morning, that they're kind of like the most interesting characters or people that you I don't want to say admire from afar, but find interesting from afar, whether that's a writer or a painter, a musician, an actor, whomever it might be, some sort of larger-than-life figure that you don't know all that well, but they have a wide array of interests and personality traits. Some of them are even damning, right? You know, you look at him, you're like, certainly makes great music. There's a whisper that he may have beaten his first wife. I'm not sure that's true, though.
Oh, here you go.
Like just weird things like that you're kind of always intrigued by.
Intrigued, not admired. I think that's right, what you said before.
Yeah.
Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey is one of the most talented actors in the world. He's musically gifted.
He's
he can
also
do
nuts.
impressions. He's also insane, and he might be a sexual predator of some kind.
Might be, doesn't appear to be in question.
And he might be guilty of somebody disappearing off the grid.
What?
Somebody who's supposed to testify against Kevin Spacey passed away.
Is that true?
Yes.
I had no idea.
This is happened months ago.
That story's getting more and more interesting by the day.
He thinks he's Frank Underwood.
I think
at this point in his
pushed
life,
him in front of a train.
Well, when he was embroiled in the controversy about potentially assaulting a young man, he did a video. He released
I know,
the
and
kitchen
he,
video
as character. Yeah, he's done another one since.
Yeah,
no, he's nuts.
But intriguing because incredibly gifted in front of the camera.
He is. I'd find a different example.
No, I was trying to find one in which you're talking about you don't admire them, but they're just, geez.
Well, and the reason I bring this up is, yes, because we're attempting to showcase that there are people or artists or, who knows, politicians or teachers or anybody for that matter that they can be polarizing, they can be dynamic, they can be flawed, they can be, fascinating, brilliant, all those things. And Florida State's weird because this group doesn't have any weird Kevin Spacey character flaws, but they are flawed. They can lose to just about anybody. They should have lost to USF. They should have lost maybe to Western Carolina. They didn't play well at all in that game. We've had these moments. They should have lost the first Notre Dame game here. And the way they melted down in that game, it would have been a really sad state of affairs when you consider how close the ACC race is. You would have thought back on that game long and hard with all the mistakes at the end, the last 2 minutes of that game, including the two inbounds plays. But this team, while you know they're capable of that and it bothers you, it lurks around the corner at all times, you also know this team on any given night is capable of beating the best teams in the country. They are one of the best teams in the country. And not just beating them, when they're at their best, they can blow your doors off. They can run you out of the gym. We've seen them do it. And they're just, it's fascinating to watch. I love the mental toughness, and I love that this was sort of a dress rehearsal for what you're going to get playing in hostile environments and having to overcome, a hot start for an opposing team with a lot on the line. That could happen in the tournament, both the ACC and obviously the NCAA. In fact, it's likely to happen. You're going to be playing a lot of good teams from here on out, excluding Saturday when you play BC, who's not any good. But it's one of those things where you're like, I love you. I admire you. I'm not letting this moment pass without acknowledging that this has been an amazing year. And uber successful. The achievements, obviously, were in rarefied air, new territory for the program. All that's true, and yet I'm armed with this knowledge that there's something around the corner that scares me because they really have stretches where they could play down to the competition and they can get beat by teams or be in a position to get beat by teams consistently who aren't nearly as talented. They're strange that way sometimes. But I guess I should say they're flawed in that way.
I'd like to stress for the record, I'm not saying this basketball team
Like
is Kevin Spacey. There's no scandal here, man.
I'm
There's
glad
no
you're
scandal.
not saying that. Yes.
But they're interesting for,
Yes.
gobs of reasons.
Yes.
And you're right. There is that undercurrent where you think, man, this tournament could be over early, or we could go the whole
Could win
damn
the whole
distance.
damn thing, yeah.
You got to be prepared for all of it.
It is fascinating that they don't really have a guy. I know we look to Trent Forrest or MJ Walker where he goes on these runs where he's red hot. Devin Vassell. Those are the three candidates. Patrick Williams sometimes. He had a few games in a row there where he carried the team and led the team in scoring. But they don't really have a guy that any given moment you think is going to be good to drop 36 on somebody and lead the way to a dominant performance. They spread it out, and historically speaking, that's not what carries you into the Final Four. Usually you have a superstar player. There's somebody, even if the team itself is really good and they have multiple NBA players, there's usually a guy amongst that group even that truly stands out. Sort of the way that Zion did at Duke, if you will. There's somebody that you go, wow, I mean, listen, all those other guys are good too, and Cam Reddish is going to play in the league and all that, but the truth is, there's the guy. There's the alpha. That's the dude that could go nuts in any given game, and you can't do anything about it. And you see that in Kansas, and you see that when you look at some of the teams that maybe are not as familiar. When you go watch a Dayton or somebody, they have superstars. There's a guy that's going to carry the night if they play big in a big moment against a great team and pull the upset or win the game. With us, it's musical chairs. It's different guys all the time, and even within the game, it's that way. It's you're carried for a few minutes by MJ, then you're carried for a stretch of 7 or 8 minutes by Vassell, then you're carried for a few minutes by Trent, and then it's back to MJ, and it's just kind of a weird dynamic with this team.
But it reduces the risk that you're going to go completely cold and get completely stoned.
Yeah, the Duke game is the one outlier where that happened, where nobody could hit anything.
Right. Yeah, and still, where were we?
We're right there.
We're right there to win the game
Yeah.
on the road in a place where we're 2-21 entering that night. For me, I look forward to the next couple of weeks thinking, embrace every moment. If you don't want to go all the way to the end of the ACC tournament, you're not going to break my heart as long as you get the win this weekend. And embrace this next moment, which is Trent's senior day on Saturday. It's wonderful that Dom is going to be celebrated, but Trent is the superstar. Game starts at 4:30. Please get to your seat around 4 o'clock so you can watch the ceremony and watch Trent and his family be embraced by Leonard Hamilton and all the love and the photos and all that stuff.
Which is special. It's just awesome. And
it's also one of the most human times of the season for Leonard Hamilton.
Oh,
if
he
you
gets
want to see a
teary-eyed,
window
yeah.
into his soul about who he is, it happens. Remember the surprise guests from out of the country in years past, and Leonard is having a hard time holding back tears to see a family reunited for this special day in Tallahassee. It's a great moment. Please be there to honor Trent Forrest because he's everything that we love.
And
about
Dom,
Knowles.
Tom. Be there to honor Dom as well.
He gets a frame and a jersey. That is correct. Set of steak knives. But he's played better of late.
He has, yeah. No, he contributes to the team. He contributes.
That's a perfect
That's right.
word.
Yeah. Set of steak knives. Third place, you're fired. So I think, when you talk about that with Leonard, it's another one of those things that, warms your heart about the team is that a good guy who does great things for Florida State and these kids is having success at the end of his career, and that stands out. And I think a lot of people are going to want to see him reach the Final Four above and beyond Florida State folks. One of the things I do like is that most of the people that cover college basketball have nothing but adoring things to say about Leonard Hamilton. And I'm talking about the talking heads who get paid to analyze the game, and many of whom are ex-coaches. And you can see their affinity for the man in the way that they describe him. One thing, and we make fun of him all the time, but Coach K is not reserved when talking about his admiration for Leonard Hamilton and for the FSU program. That's something he gets credit for. He says it a lot more than, say, Roy Williams does. He talks about it, and I think he talks about it from the standpoint that he understands that what Duke is and what Florida State are. Very different things in way of resources, investments, and all that. And
Mark it down. Your Roy Williams flight. It's 4:10 p.m.
Took me a little while to get there. I think I've done my due diligence in my job of sliding Roy all year long. I was the first to point out very early in the season that looks like it's going to be one of those years where you can't just roll the ball out there, Roy.
Do we
and have your 5 NBA players go win a game for you while you do nothing?
We would line up against them, wouldn't we, in the quarterfinal? Got to be if we're the 1 seed and we finish the job, because aren't they in dead last, or did they get out of the cellar?
They're tied for dead last.
Oh,
Pitt
okay.
is officially in dead ass last by themselves at 6-14. But when North Carolina loses to Duke, they'll be 6-14 as well.
FSU North Carolina for the ACC title.
Ugh.
You could see it. The reason that you do that is because you could see it happening.
Well, here's the problem. When I've ripped Roy because his team is not playing commensurate to the playing talent he has, to the recruit, to the blue chips that he's brought in. It's not lost on me that part of what North Carolina is and what makes them so annoying and why they're ordinarily extremely successful is that they have, better players than everybody else all the time. And it's not like he just took a year off of recruiting. There are kids on this team that are elite players that the whole country wanted. It's what makes it all the sadder, if you will, if you're a Carolina fan, and all the more frustrating if you're a Carolina fan, that there they sit, 4 games under 500 for the season at 13-17. It's taken a 3-game win streak to get to 13-17, I might add. There they sit tied with teams like Wake and Miami and Pitt for 6 wins on the ledger in a 20-game conference schedule. I mean, they have to be wondering, just a year removed from an incredible season, whether or not Roy is fit to coach.
Maybe Steve Robinson has lost his fastball, because wasn't that Steve's role?
To recruit or to coach?
Not to recruit.
Yeah.
To
coach?
Yeah, maybe Steve's lost his fastball. That's his part of the operation.
I guess. I don't know. I blame Roy. He's the head coach. Roy's got more opportunities to be successful around every turn than Leonard Hamilton does, and that is across the board. And yet there's one team, 15-4 in the ACC, 25-5 overall, ranked 3 in the RPI, and then there sits North Carolina, 111th in the RPI, 6-13 in the league, 13-17.
I have a feeling when it's 110 on November 2nd of this year, it's going to be Roy Williams' fault. That's all I'm saying.
I like for people to, take a fresh approach to looking at some of these legends. I'm like, it's not that hard to win. Like, it is weird because you end up having a chicken or the egg conversation. I mean, I also get he's won national championships, and that's not nothing. And, you're not a legend for nothing. He had achieved a lot at both Kansas and North Carolina. I get it, but also it's like it gets lost in the mix. You sometimes you think, hey, he's a great coach. Or is he? Is he just a really good recruiter? Because in basketball, better players matter. Having the better players at every position gives you a good chance to win the game.
Made a bit of a difference here if you just pay attention to our home record the last 3 or 4 years. You know what happened in that time? We got better players here on campus.
Yeah, we did. We got a lot better players. It does make a difference.
We also developed, though.
Well, we develop players a lot, and it's another reason that Patrick Williams should come back, Tom, on that topic, that talking point. Yeah,
absolutely. Come back, Patrick. One more year.
He's got to. There's no choice in the matter, Patrick. I've already deemed it necessary. We've assessed your play as of late, and we feel like you got to come back.
You got to use a line from The Mandalorian, which is, I have spoken. That's the end of it. Patrick, I have spoken. You're coming back next year.
He understands the affection that I have for him. I haven't had to be tough love towards him the way that I did to guide MJ's career while he was here. I could see when guys need that, when guys are capable of it, when guys just need a kick in the ass or a loving pat on the shoulder. I know.
One more year of MJ in all likelihood, so there's more development to be had.
It gets lost in the shuffle of all the people that we talk about we hope come back. I mean, we've spent so much time wondering whether or not Devin Vassell or Patrick Williams would come back. And, the idea that you're going to get MJ Walker back in all likelihood is huge. It's just it's fun because you see what's coming in, and you really do have to resist the temptation to start peeking ahead to next year and the year after instead of going along for this incredible ride this year.
But there's a lot of pieces to work with. You know, Evans at point. Obviously, Scotty Barnes is going to come in and be a point forward, but you got Evans at point also to help fortify that. MJ Walker, Malik Osborne, Balsa,
Raekwon Gray,
Polite, who's been a much better player for us.
Feels like he's been here for centuries.
Calhoun coming in, and they like him to, score the basketball early and often. And then maybe one of the two returners. That's a lot to work with, an awful lot.
I want us to have that surprise moment where they announced they're coming back. I remember when Chris Winkie did it, and everybody hooped and hollered. Like, the press lost their mind. They weren't even objective at that point. Everyone was like, whoa!
The press did, huh?
Yeah, they were all like, yeah! Different times back then, but yeah, that happened.
I'm sure that happened in Gainesville when Tebow did it, too.
Well, I'm sure.
Hey, guess what? I'm going to be back for another year. Anything else, Tim? No, that's it. You will never see.
Tampa Bay beat the Pirates today in spring training. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
The madness is here. Join Tallahassee's sports monster all NCAA tournament long, from the opening tip to the cutting down of the nets, as our partners at Westwood One bring you all the heart-pounding moments.
For the win! He got it!
And madness.
Crawford's got to hurry!
That March has to offer. The NCAA Men's Basketball Tournament on 97.9 ESPN Radio is brought to you in part by Lane's Medical Shop. Search Facebook for Lane's Medical Shop DME today. And by Lisa's Paint and Body. Choose a body shop that is working and looking out for you.
Mark your calendars now for another great event from Jerry's Famous Cigar Shop. It's the La Flor Dominicana event on Thursday, March 5th from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Cary Forest Parkway location. Come meet Master Blender Tony Gomez of La Flor Dominicana and snag some unbelievable deals and special event-only cigars. Don't miss the La Flor Dominicana event this Thursday, March 5th from 6 to 9 p.m. at Jerry's Famous Cigar Shop on Cary Forest Parkway.
Wahoo Seafood Grill, Tallahassee's leader in fresh seafood, is located right behind the Best Western on North Monroe. Lunch specials start at $7.99. Be sure to try their award-winning house-made burger. Big lunch parties are also welcome. Wahoo Seafood Grill makes lunch specials a very affordable choice. Delivery is available and plenty of parking. Wahoo Seafood Grill, easy access from any part of town using I-10. Visit them online at wahooseafoodgrill.com or call them today at 850-629-4059.
Seminole Headlines, Podcast Edition, is presented to you by the Morgan Law Group, representing the policyholder, going after the insurance companies. Offices, Miami, Orlando, Naples, and Panama City. Online at policyadvocate.com.
I really need a new refrigerator, and I want to get the best deal. But there are so many options, I don't know which one to choose. I wish there was a way to make this simpler.
With so many choices, a major appliance purchase like this can be overwhelming. The City of Tallahassee helps make the choice simple by offering rebates on Energy Star appliances. You can receive up to $300 in rebates on refrigerators, clothes washers, and more. Are you thinking about purchasing and installing a smart thermostat to help minimize your home energy costs? With the city's rebates, you can get up to $100 off eligible options. Stack your savings this holiday season by coupling in-store deals with rebates from the City of Tallahassee. Visit talgov.com/YOU. That's talgov.com/YOU. Or call 850-891-4968 to learn more. That's 850-891-4968.
Hey, Florida! You're 100 times better than any other fans! Oh, you think that's exciting? Well, these new X Multiplier Scratch-Offs multiply your winnings up to 100 times!
Hey, are we in a commercial?
Yeah!
Multiply the excitement with the X Multiplier Scratch-Offs, featuring over $520 million in cash prizes. The Florida Lottery. It's your ticket.
Claim it.
Must be 18 or older to play. Play responsibly.
Come visit the new and exciting Hangar 38. This amazing place is for everyone listening right now. Practice your bowling skills, compete, and have fun. Whether you're a newbie, an all-star, or a beer frame champion, no matter how you roll, you'll find the best place to bowl is at Hangar 38. Hangar 38 is home to over 75 arcade games, so they're sure to have something for everyone. Zeppelin's at Hangar 38 is a premier full-service restaurant and sports bar, and it's also your place for birthday parties and company outings. Tallahassee, what are you waiting for? Come on out to Zeppelin's Hangar 38, 6668 Thomasville Road behind Walgreens.
Hello, Tallahassee. This is William Barnum Floyd. We've got a lot to look forward to in 2020. A new year, a new football coach, another shot at March Madness. The stars are in alignment. So why not treat yourself to a brand new car from Kraft Nissan? It's the time of year when Uncle Sam really acts like your uncle. Don't take your hard-earned tax return to a dealership looking for a used car. You'll be sold a car with high interest rates and no warranty. I guarantee you there's a better option. Would you buy anything used if you could get it new for virtually the same price? Of course not. Go see my good friend Chris Kraft. It's a fact that their New For You program puts tons of people who may not have the best credit, into brand new cars. 3 out of 4 people who apply for Kraft's New For You program end up in new cars, and the payments are often less than you'd pay for that old used bucket. So treat yourself and your family to a new car this year. After you get your taxes done, go see the good people at Kraft Nissan. Show them what your refund is going to be, and they'll show you a new car that fits your budget. And when you get there, tell them Bar None sent you.
A Kraft Brothers dealership.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. And we have other events going on beyond Florida State basketball. It's a Florida State-centric show most days, but really today it is a lot of hyper-focus. I don't know how many more times I can go through the conversation and talking points about the 7 quarterbacks that could be changing teams.
Oh, with the NFL?
Yeah, well, that's what's going on.
I thought you were going to say the 7 quarterbacks on our roster for spring ball.
Only also to make, one aside here, I will say this. If we end up with Phillip Rivers and all this, and Phillip, if you're listening, glad you're in town. I'm sorry I missed you at the game the other night. He was at the Florida State-Louisville game. I would have sat down and told you the reasons I don't want you in Tampa. We could have hung out, maybe grab a dinner afterwards or something. We could talk about your career. I've greatly admired your career.
So you get takeout for your family, every once in a great while from one of our many awesome sponsors here on this.
That's true. Network. Yeah, usually about once a week.
Imagine if you're Phillip Rivers having to get takeout for your family. That's an absurd proposition.
Yeah, you'd call ahead.
It's a catering menu. You don't get the actual menu. You get the catering menu.
Catering, yeah. I don't think he goes out to do it. He has an assistant.
Of course not. Yes, but if he was, regular Joe like that.
Yeah, that'd be a toughie.
Do you have your catering menu? Excuse me? Sorry, I got to feed my family tonight.
Well, as long as he's feeding somewhere other than Tampa. He doesn't need to be the Bucs quarterback, I can tell you that. Why would you get a less talented, interception-prone, aging quarterback? You've already got an interception-prone quarterback, so that's 1-to-1. Only ours is young and dynamic and has a chance to be a lot better.
With an arm like Chris Young.
It's frustrating, man. It's I just wonder. You keep hearing that stated, and I'm just hoping they don't speak it into being. Like, is Arians losing his mind?
Yes.
Well, if that's true,
but he's fixing a lot of things while he's losing his mind and falling into madness. That's also true. It's just which happens first.
All right, I'm looking at these juniors that are going to be here this weekend. That's what I was going to talk about. This, it's a junior day visit. You've got Altmaier coming in here. That's the quarterback that pro-style QB, 6'2", out of Starkville, Mississippi, 4-star, verbal commit.
What happens when the Altmaier meets the Rodemaker?
They both get beat up by Chubba Purdy. You've got Amari Daniels.
You crammed on that one, didn't you?
That was quick. Amari Daniels is coming in. Kenji Christian is coming in, running back. We got Raheem Sanders coming in, athlete, 6'2", 205. Played there at Rockledge, Florida, not a place I've ever been to. But I would tell you, they've got really cool North Carolina-looking uniforms. You ever seen them? You ever seen the Rockledge uniforms?
No, I've not.
They're sweet. They're white with the baby blue.
Just the baby blue. They don't do the baby and the navy.
No, they do the right thing. It's the white with the classic baby blue. Those are good uniforms. When we have uniform talks, we don't bring up North Carolina enough. They really have kick-ass uniforms. When they wear white on white with the baby blue trim, woo, doing some things.
It is doing some things.
They really should do that all the time.
But they fell in love with the navy. You just stop that.
No, go back to your baby blue. It's a good uniform. Leave it be.
You know, the one thing you talk about, the blue color and good uniforms. The Chargers, obviously, with the AFC uniforms, are
old
classic.
School. Yeah.
But I got to tell you, those royal blue ones, they broke out the last couple of years.
Nice, yeah.
Those are really nice, too.
Royal blue works. Royal blue's a good color.
It's a hell of a color. Because they were navy, and it just felt like a waste. The navy. With the junior Seau's, remember they had the navy helmet?
Yeah, the navy helmet.
What a waste.
No.
But you get the royal blue or the powder blue. Oh, yeah.
Powder blue's nice. Royal blue's nice, too. But not together.
Right. Got to pick a blue.
Got to pick a blue and stick with it. Carolina should always be with the baby blue.
The Titans, they don't pick a blue. Pick one.
Yeah, they don't pick. Well, that's the other landing spot for Brady that everybody talks about. Joshua Burrell will be here. Wide receiver, 6'2", 195-pound. Miles Campbell, tight end, 6'4", 225 pounds. Looking forward to talking to Cameron McDonald tomorrow because, obviously they use tight ends in this offense.
Integral. Yeah, absolutely.
It's huge. I'm excited about that, obviously. Big old offensive lineman who's a verbal commit to the Canes. If you like inferior programs and facilities, young man, then I understand your commitment to Miami. But if you'd like to be part of rebuilding a once proud and certainly superior, at least when it comes to facilities, program, Lawrence Seymour will be in town. So come on, he's a guard.
We do have 100 yards between the end zones in our indoor practice facility.
Yeah, real stuff. Caleb Johnson is the 6'7", 290-plus pound offensive tackle at Trinity Catholic in Ocala.
What was his name?
Caleb Johnson.
That's a good name. I like that name.
It is weird that you and I have the same affinity for judging offensive and defensive linemen by their names as to whether or not they'll be good. For example, when True Thompson signed, I told you, he's going to be good.
Absolutely.
He's going to play a key role in our defensive line. He has no choice. His name is True Thompson.
Big Rod Johnson.
Big Rod.
That guy's going to play.
Has to. He's Big Rod. So we talked about that, and I think you're right with this guy. For whatever reason, Caleb Johnson sounds like a very good offensive lineman.
Sounds like a guard who has like the rubbery thing over his elbow.
Yeah, but he's a tackle, and he's got really long arms. He's 6'7". We need tackles, too. Don't try to make him a guard.
I'm not trying to. Just the name sounds more
Julian
garnish.
Armella is 6'6", 300 pounds. St. Thomas Aquinas out of Fort Lauderdale. That's a big old boy.
What was the name?
Julian Armella. That too. No. Armella works. Yeah, it does.
Maybe as a center.
Armella? Well, if you go across the offensive line, Tom, you got Armella. He's doing a good job at center. Caleb Johnson has been a godsend at tackle. And, remember when we flipped Lawrence Seymour? Good guard. So it's Seymour, Johnson, Armella.
Yeah. Okay, that'll
you
work.
Like that? That works, right?
I do.
You like that? Okay, I'm with you. I like that. That's a good That's a start.
A big-ass center.
We got to start. Marlon Dean's on his way here this weekend. Daryl Jackson, soft commit to Tennessee. And then, of course, Brandon Jennings, who's already committed, and he's a legacy and a big, strong kid. Look at that dude, man. He looks evil to me. I like him.
You could
6'3", 225 pounds.
You can't be an offensive lineman with that name. Just for example.
Brandon Jennings?
That's not an offensive lineman's name.
No, but it is a good sports name.
It is. Linebacker.
Defensive end. Yeah, it's just a good name. He's a linebacker.
Shooting guard.
Yeah, Brandon Jennings.
Isn't there a Brandon Jennings?
We had Mr. Jennings when I was at ETSU. Keith Jennings. Mr. Jennings.
Oh, his name wasn't Mr.? Like Mr. Alexander?
No, they called him Mr. Jennings.
Great name.
He was 5'6" or 5'5". He almost broke my nose in a pickup game. He threw dimes, Tom. You had to have your hands up and ready. He was going to throw dimes.
You know, my favorite uniform All-American was Todrick Verdell.
Oh,
and what a
that's
name
right.
that is, too.
Yeah.
But that sounds like a kicker's name or a punter's name.
Or a linebacker.
You think so?
I do. Barrett Carter is another good name. North Gwinnett County. Swanee.
Barrett Carter.
Mm-hmm.
That is a quarterback and nothing else.
Well, he's an inside linebacker at 225 pounds.
I don't know.
You're not buying it. Tell you what I do buy.
Yeah, he has to go by Buzz or something. Buzz Carter.
Okay. Buzz Carter with the play right there. Nice play.
Yeah,
Good job, Buzz.
Nice play, Buzz.
I see you working. Jaden Hood. Yes. Any position on the field, you're
Absolutely.
good to go. Especially wide receiver.
I was going to say rangy safety.
Or wide receiver.
Yeah.
That's Hood on the catch. Yeah, it works. Works well.
Pass broken up by Hood.
Now, what do you think about this? Dink Jackson. He'll be here.
Dink Jackson.
Jackson out of Melbourne, Florida.
Interior defensive lineman.
He's only 185 pounds.
Oh, boy.
So Dink's not going to be blocking anybody anytime soon. Charles Brantley. Markevius Brown. Yes. Azare Thompson. Nice.
Okay.
Kamari Lassiter. Yes.
Ooh.
Now, he should be a running back, but he's a cornerback. Lassiter should be a running back.
He'll be converted by year 3.
We got to. Jalen White, good name. He is a running back. Kawan Powell.
Slot defender. Hybrid.
He's actually a running back. He's 5'10".
They'll change it. Nope. They'll fit it.
Malachi Bennett, good name. Anybody Malachi is playing anything they want.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah.
It's 2 things that are happening there.
Could also be a serial killer.
I was going to say football or wisdom. Malachi.
Or serial killing.
Yeah, and the third to the list.
Okay, well, if we're going all names for this junior day that's happening this weekend, Jake Slaughter.
Oh, yes.
Oh, buddy.
That's an O tackle.
And he is.
Is he really?
6'5", 310 pounds of tackle out of Ocala.
Let's grow an inch or two there, Jake. Come on now.
Jake Slaughter. That's good.
That's a 3-year starter right there.
Yeah, dominant player, first-round draft pick. Get it together, Jake. So you're a 3-star right now. I need you to ascend to your name.
Like you're reading his name. Get it together, Jake.
Yeah. Well, he's just a 3-star. I'm telling him to get it together. Let's go. Got to flip those stars. Got to get him to 5.
Get him to 6'7", and he'll be a 4-star. No problem.
Anyhow, I'm not going to name everybody that's going to be here. There's a lot of people that are going to be here. The list isn't grand. It's okay. But, you can't expect it to be off the charts great when you haven't been off the charts good. And when many of the great players that are in a junior class that are being projected as 5-star kids have been in conversations for months already with the likes of Clemson, Alabama, Georgia, LSU, etc., you're not going to get a lot of those yeses coming to your junior day. Nope, that's where winning some damn football games going to help. And we've talked about that quite a bit. It's nothing to – it really basically, when you're Norvell and this staff right now, not only are you getting in on these kids and letting them know what you're about and trying to convince them and woo them and sell them on a vision and their part in it, you're also really trying to find some diamonds in the rough, some kids that are currently 3-star kids that look like they'll potentially be 4- and 5-star kids, that they've got the body type for it. Here's where Jimbo was really, really good. Body type analysis, looking at what they're going to grow into, how you would use them specifically in your systems. So they're going to have to be elite at that right now until those wins come in order to build the kind of team that gives you a chance to compete in 2 and 3 years.
And when in doubt, get the media guide and study the names. If the name fits the position, give the kid a look.
Well, we did that for him just now. So, Coach, go ahead and tag this segment, and we'll send it on over if you want, and you can.
Slaughter could never be a quarterback.
No. Cameron Gray looks like a professional football player. He's a corner. Well put together kid, that guy. Just a 3-star. Come on, Cameron. He's a corner, 6'2", 190.
Get your weight up.
190 and as a junior in high school is doing some things at 6'2". He's going to be all right.
Big shoulders.
He'll be 205 by the time he gets here at 6'3", playing corner. Okay. I project good things for Cameron Gray.
It's going to be a great junior day.
That's just me. He's undecided currently, but I feel fairly confident. I'm going to throw it out there. We're going to get Cameron Gray. I don't know if he can play, but something tells me he's going to be an elite player at Florida State in about 3 years.
Celebrating our 20th year in business, Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram is now offering a 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty on all of the new car inventory. The Ram 1500 is back-to-back 2019 and 2020 Motor Trend Truck of the Year, and now comes with an exclusive 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty only at Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. And with over 100 Ram 1500s in stock, they are ready for immediate delivery. You can lease it for just $249 a month with just $19.99 down. The all-new 2020 Jeep Gladiator is the hottest Jeep in the market right now, and you can lease it for just $289 a month with just $19.99 down. And all of our Jeeps come with a 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty only at Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram on the corner of West Tennessee and Capitol Circle, where we're right on the corner and always right on the price. See dealer for details on powertrain warranty. Dealer retains all rebates and incentives. Sport package leases are 36 months with $19.88 down and 10,000 miles with approved credit.
Well, would you look at this goodness? Our friends at For the Table Hospitality are doing the right thing per usual. It's time for the 4th annual Tallahassee Wine Mixer and Mozfest. Tallahassee's best wine festival is back for another year right there in the shadow of beautiful Doak Campbell Stadium. The date is Saturday, March the 7th from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Centrale Pizza, Parm, and Bar. VIP tickets are just $60 and feature unlimited wine sampling, unlimited charcuterie, ooh, fancy, unlimited mozzarella cheese, oh, forget about it, this is good stuff, unlimited games, and a commemorative glass to boot. 2020 is going to be the best Tallahassee wine mixer yet. We'd certainly like to thank our friends at Visit Tallahassee for all of their help. For tickets, go to Eventbrite.com and search Tallahassee Wine Mixer.
Parker Services, comfort's just a call away.
Hello, I'm Roy Parker of Parker Services Air Conditioning and Heating. I've been in this business for over 30 years and can't even begin to count the number of home comfort systems that have died way before their time. The number one reason by far is lack of maintenance. Proper maintenance will, without a doubt, add significant life to your system. That's why we at Parker Services encourage you to consider the purchase of one of our peak performance service agreements. It includes up to 28 points of service, priority service, 15% savings on services including duct cleaning and repairs, plus many other benefits. We can't make it run forever, but Parker can extend its life and improve its efficiency, which will keep you comfortable, healthy, and help lower your energy costs. And when it's time to replace your outdated system, we'll provide you with the expert guidance, the best value, and the best equipment.
222-7722. Parker Services, comfort's just a call away.
If I win with the new Fast Play games, I would.
Sorry, no time to daydream when you can win instantly. Play the new $1, $2, and $5 Fast Play games from the Florida Lottery. You could win top prizes from $500 to $50,000. Just ask the clerk and the games print right at the counter. The Florida Lottery. It's your ticket.
Claim it!
Must be 18 or older to play. Play responsibly.
With a Bojangles 3-piece Chicken Supreme snack, you get a plate of bold, boneless chicken and a hot, fluffy, made-from-scratch biscuit for just $3.99. Or, if you'd rather 2 pieces of bone-in fried chicken with a biscuit and a fixin', don't you worry, because that's $3.99 too. It's such a good deal, you can knock out dinner and balance your budget in one fell swoop. Because if you're going to take out 2 birds with 1 stone, they ought to be delicious. Bojangles. It's bow time.
Jeff Cameron here, and mark it down. Wednesdays on my show, we're giving away which Wicked sandwiches. That's right. Tune in to the Jeff Cameron Show every Wednesday for your chance at a free Wicked 5 meats and 3 cheeses of deliciousness. Which is Wicked Wednesdays every week on the JCS.
So we're going to approach everything with a championship mindset, a championship approach.
See Mike Norvell lead the new Seminoles for the first time at the FSU Spring Game. Touchdown FSU! Then Doak After Dark returns. Multi-platinum artist John Party will rock the stage with his country hits. Also featuring Runaway June. Saturday, April 18th. Tickets starting at $10 for the game and concert. Visit Seminoles.com to get your tickets today.
The madness is here. Join Tallahassee's sports monster all NCAA tournament long. From the opening tip to the cutting down of the nets, as our partners at Westwood One bring you all the heart-pounding moments.
Goodman at the free throw line. Jumper.
And madness.
A 3. Good! You can't be serious with that shot.
that March has to offer. The NCAA Men's Basketball Tournament on 97.9 ESPN Radio is brought to you in part by Whitten Glass, Tallahassee's first family in glass. The Tallahassee Food Challenge. Take the challenge. Feed the hungry. TallahasseeFoodChallenge.com. And by Truck and Car Concepts. Online at truckandcarconcepts.com. Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Redemption Thursday, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. Got a do-it-yourself project that needs to be finished? Cornerstone Tool and Fastener, 1110 Stuckey Avenue in Tallahassee and 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Online at ctf.nu.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. This is a weird story. The Rays confirmed threats. That would be the Tampa Bay Rays. Confirmed threats were made against 4 players via social media last year. Okay, that in and of itself, you're like, yeah, well, the general public is bizarre. People kind of suck sometimes. And talked Thursday about the, quote, scary and crazy environment they now play in. Chaz Rowe confirmed that he was one of the players who received messages allegedly from a New York-based gambler named Benjamin Tucker Patz, who, among other things, threatened to break into the athletes' homes and behead them and their families, according to a criminal complaint of federal charges. Rowe declined to comment because the case is ongoing. Adam Kolarek and Emilio Pagan were identified in the complaint by their initials. Neither is with the team any longer. The fourth was listed as TP, and that was Tommy Pham, the only player with those initials on the team last year. But he told the Tampa Bay Times that he did not know who the guy was. I don't remember him threatening me, said Pham, now with the Padres. That is crazy, was the end of the quote. The threats made from anonymous accounts came after a pair of back-to-back losses to the White Sox by the Rays. Several Rays players said they are used to getting comments via social media denigrating their performance, but when it involves threats, and even more so to their family, it becomes a much greater concern. That's scary, said Joey Wendell. Most of the time, it's probably just people who lost money because of my performance or something like that. There's absolutely no weight behind any of those threats 99.9% of the time, but it's a shame. Nobody's out here trying to lose games. It could be just because they performed well and the better was on the other side of things. That has to be so far removed from our minds that we can't be worried about what other people's money and how they're using it. It's just crazy that it comes back to the players in that way, though. Pitcher Andrew Kittredge said he gets threats and comments randomly here and there, not at the level of violence in the reported threats. It's usually like, hey, man, you really suck. Oftentimes followed by a bunch of exclamation points. Sports fans are freaking idiots. It's just the best.
People in general in the comments section, which is what Twitter is in that moment.
Manager Kevin Cash said the threats can be common. Well, with the internet and social media, today's players, they've got so much on their plate, in many ways more than 20 years ago. In some ways, it's good. In some ways, it can be detrimental and scary at times for the players and the families and that stuff. You'd like to avoid that, but that's where we live. That's where we're at. Major League Baseball noting that the safety of players and staff is paramount. All threats like that taken very seriously. During the 2019 season, a Rays player notified club officials of threats he was receiving on social media. The Rays brought the issue to a Clearwater resident office of the FBI. And that's what I was thinking. If you go online to somebody's Twitter feed because you lost a bet and the Rays lost to the White Sox and you threaten to behead their family, you're going to jail, my man. And they are going to find out who sent that. There's no chance you're not going to jail at that point. You put it in writing. You're done. Dumbasses.
Are these your words?
It's great. So additional players were also threatened. The Rays and the players involved are cooperating with the FBI. Yes, and the FBI will be in touch with this guy, who I think is hilariously named Benjamin Tucker Petz.
If you're going to claim that, you cannot be lying, as Jim McElwain found.
Correct. Yeah, no, you have to bring the actual threats, the letters, the emails,
Death
the tweets.
threats.
Yes. You have to bring that to the attention of the FBI. You can't ignore that.
Where are these death threats? Well,
I deleted them. I didn't. You did. Give us the computer. We can go back and find deleted emails. Well, oh, boy. Florida's like, yes, do you have them, Jim?
Wait a minute.
You don't have them?
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
We may have with cause.
See you tomorrow at noon. I'm going to assemble all of those who've been in my ear for the last month and a half, Jim. I don't think this is going to be a good meeting. It's Homer with the siren trying to buy the SUV, I think it was. No, it was one of those giant traveling houses. What are those called? I'm forgetting.
Mobile homes,
yeah,
RVs?
RV. I couldn't think of RV. Good Lord, get it together. Yeah.
More people should hear about RVs, and they can, if you just want to.
Did you ever see that Simpsons episode?
I
He's
don't know
trying
that
to
I
buy.
did.
He's being convinced by a salesman who is all salesman. It's great, right? And he easily tricks Homer into trying to buy this RV that he can't afford, and they have to run his credit. And when they go to run his credit, the siren goes off, and it's red. And he goes, "Is that a good siren?" And he goes, "Have you ever known a siren to be good, Mr. Simpson?" Is that a good siren?
Well, for the Cat 5 maintain, people love that siren.
That's
here.
true.
So we have an exception
That's
right here
true.
on these airwaves.
To tie this up, I will tell you that years and years and years ago, probably, oh God, I'm getting old, 15, maybe 10, I had a guy email me repeatedly. Like, not I hate your show, you suck. I mean, that happens with any show host or anybody in the public eye. No, he was threatening me, and I laughed the first time. The next time, it was like a week later, and then it happened again and again and again. And the fourth or fifth time that I got an email, this time I paid closer attention.
Was his last name Ricks?
No, which would have been great.
Okay.
But about the fourth or fifth time I got a threatening email. He was mad at me. He was obviously mad at me about some sort of critique that I had. And I was going through, I looked a little bit closer, and, I found out that he worked for the Department of Children and Families. I was like, you're sending this from your work email. Duly noted. And forwarded that along, and people showed up to his work.
I'm sure.
That's awesome.
One government agency to another.
I'm like, you dumbass.
Excuse me, brother. You mind if we take a couple minutes of your time?
How great is that?
Sure. Just helping the kids. How can I serve you today?
Like, my man, what are you doing, dumbass? That was good. You get to. There was a guy on here a number of years ago that hated you with a passion, and I would share those with you, and it was funny.
Oh,
you forgot about him. Yeah, let's not bring it up again, but it was funny. Yeah.
Oh my God, those would be like 1,000-word manifesto emails.
That's when it's weird. If it's a one-line, one-off, or whatever, somebody's mad. Maybe they were drinking.
But you would send me every once in a while. He'd be complimentary.
Yeah,
and then
it was so
like
really
down
strange.
in the dumps again.
Oh, and it would be it'd be 2 pages long about all the things that's wrong with you. Then it would be the next time it'd be like, great job on the show. Like manic. He was all over the place.
Yeah, they were never 40-word emails. They were usually
you
chapters.
Be worried when you get chapters. When you get those kinds of emails,
it took some time.
Somebody took the time to an extent beyond all reason. Yeah, that's.
It's like when you pick on Tennessee. You come with pages
I come
of
with
facts.
gusto.
I
come after you.
You got a small book.
There ain't no half stepping when I come at Tennessee.
No. Now, your retort may be, well, there's a lot of evidence to that end.
Oh, yes.
And I'm considering all of it.
I wanted to weigh my criticism and then also display, in no uncertain terms, where that's coming from and why, and here's the evidence to prove it. It's not just like, oh, hey, boo, Tennessee. It's, look at this.
Right. It's
Chapter
like me,
and verse, buddy.
It's like me with Auburn basketball, the fraud of a program
Which
that
they
is,
just
'cause
lost.
They did again.
Yes,
Unranked
and
Texas
I
A&M.
know how happy you were to see them lose. I think of you every time Auburn loses in basketball because Tom he hates 2 things in this world currently, just 2, Auburn basketball and Ken Palm.
Oh, well, yes. That's relatively accurate. I'm sure Purdue right now or Minnesota are in the top 15 of the country.
Purdue just got a big win, a much-needed win.
Oh, they probably vaulted them up to top 5 in KenPom. But then, they're cheating up to their eyeballs. You know it. I know it. There was even like a hint story about Bruce Pearl breaking protocols and promises of what he said he was going to do and restricting his own recruiting efforts. And so, it's all a facade. And it's working. They're going to get the short-term results, but their day is coming.
It'll all come crashing down. But
it will come crashing down quicker if they lose games they're not supposed to with the talent they have. So that's what I'm rooting for.
The problem is this, though, with the way that Bruce Pearl is obviously cheating. For whatever reason, he, A, gets a pass seemingly more than most, and B, instantly gets the job the second they get show cause firings. I mean, he finds a way to be on ESPN within an hour.
Yeah, once the ban's lifted on the show cause, then
he's back working again.
And that was the thing. The reason, it's very simple. It's all related back to Florida State. People wanted Bruce Pearl here who wanted Leonard out.
Yes,
and it's like, okay, do you want to sell your soul for a shot at a title that's going to be vacated in 5 years?
Short term, yep.
And listen, there might be some legitimacy to somebody saying, I don't care. You can't give me, the banners are going to hang.
Urban Meyer's 2 championships in Florida. Right. Those banners hang despite 30-something plus arrests and a mass murderer.
But you look at what we've done here and what we were doing, and I know Leonard was in the middle of a philosophical change as to how we were approaching things, but I took offense to that because it was like, man, you got somebody doing this for the benefit of his players, not trying to cut every corner known to man and just throwing money at the problem. Like, you've got somebody who's trying to develop people, not just basketball players, not just trying to win games. Thankfully, it paid off here, and everything's fine, but that's where it all stemmed from.
One side note, because I know we won't get a chance to get into this, but I know it always interests you, and it is of interest to all of us, our listeners, sports fans, fans of the NFL, people who like to watch their team. If the Ravens fans living in Miami want to see a live telecast of their team's game on any given Sunday, the only option is to buy an entire season of DirecTV's NFL Sunday Ticket for $293. The same is true for Eagles fans in Los Angeles, Patriots fans in Chicago, etc. In a world of regional sports networks, satellite television providers, and a multitude of streaming platforms, should that be legal? Or would fans be better served if each team, rather than the NFL, decided how to make live telecasts of its games available to everybody?
Well, I mean, this would be the saving grace to RSNs, because I think RSN's bubbles in the next 5 to 10 years are really going to burst.
So these questions, Tom, and that one in particular, are part of a long-running class action case against the lawyers for the NFL and DirecTV have asked the U.S. Supreme Court to review. A decision on whether the High Court will take up the case will happen soon. So we'll find out.
Well, what's interesting, okay, so DirecTV's rights are up soon.
Yes.
Like the next year or two. And the question is, when these new rights are negotiated, will there be, television broadcast rights and then also streaming rights? And will they be separate companies? So could you go to Amazon, let's say, and get the equivalent of MLB TV instead of buying the extra innings package that you get on DirecTV or Xfinity? And I think that's the way it's going to go, and that'll probably solve that case.
Yeah, that's a legal battle that's unfolding right now about the Sunday Ticket package, which premiered all the way back, by the way. When I read that story this morning, when do you think the NFL Sunday Ticket premiered? Because, first of all, I can remember when it happened, and I remember being a kid in a candy store. I was like, are you kidding me? Really?
97?
That's a good guess. 94 is the answer. I didn't think it was all the way back in 94.
It's been around basically my entire football watching life.
Most of my life it hadn't been, but it's crazy.
I would think NFL ownership would vote for unified streaming rights and unified broadcast rights rather than regional sports networks, because some teams don't have followings quite like others.
Correct.
Like the Cowboys would do much better to do standalones, but they don't have the votes, I wouldn't think.
If the NFL does lose, quote, I don't think it's necessarily so dramatic in terms of the way that you will watch NFL on satellite or cable, said Steven Zemansky, a sports economist at the University of Michigan. But it should be great news for consumers because they'll be paying less for all of their out-of-market games.
Yeah, I mean, if I only had to pay for Mets games, instead of MLB TV.
Yeah, well, that'd be pretty cool. I thought there was I don't know why. I always thought there was a way, but there's not. No, you got to get the whole shebang, yeah. Mm-hmm. Final hour, forthcoming. Stay with.
And when I do, it feels like you're only halfway there. Young mothers love me, even ghosts of girlfriends call from Cleveland.
The madness is here. Join Tallahassee's sports Master all.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
And by Miller's Ale House. Stop in today to Miller's for their daily $5.99 to $9.99 lunch specials.
Hello, Tallahassee. This is William Barnum Floyd. We've got a lot to look forward to in 2020. A new year, a new football coach, another shot at March Madness. The stars are in alignment. So why not treat yourself to a brand new car from Kraft Nissan? It's the time of year when Uncle Sam really acts like your uncle. Don't take your hard-earned tax return to a dealership looking for a used car. You'll be sold a car with high interest rates and no warranty. I guarantee you there's a better option. Would you buy anything used if you could get it new for virtually the same price? Of course not. Go see my good friend Chris Kraft. It's a fact that their New For You program puts tons of people who may not have the best credit, into brand new cars. 3 out of 4 people who apply for Kraft's New For You program end up in new cars, and the payments are often less than you'd pay for that old used bucket. So treat yourself and your family to a new car this year. After you get your taxes done, go see the good people at Kraft Nissan. Show them what your refund is going to be, and they'll show you a new car that fits your budget. And when you get there, tell them Bar None sent you.
A Kraft Brothers dealership.
The temperature is cool, but the DeWalt deals at Cornerstone Tool and Fastener are heating up. Before you buy a DeWalt kit somewhere else, make sure to stop by Cornerstone and check out their $100 instant rebate and ask one of their knowledgeable staff members how you can add an additional bare tool up to $150 value for free. While you're there, check out the latest DeWalt FlexVolt 60-volt technology, taking cordless to an even higher level. Cornerstone has the largest DeWalt selection in Tallahassee. 2 locations to choose from, 1110 Stuckey Ave and 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Tallahassee location open on Saturdays from 8 a.m. until noon.
Mark your calendars now for another great event from Jerry's Famous Cigar Shop. It's the La Flor Dominicana event on Thursday, March 5th from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Cary Forest Parkway location. Come meet Master Blender Tony Gomez of La Flor Dominicana and snag some unbelievable deals and special event-only cigars. Don't miss the La Flor Dominicana event this Thursday, March 5th from 6 to 9 p.m. at Jerry's Famous Cigar Shop on Cary Forest Parkway.
Oh no, this car ride's taking forever. I hate blindfolds. No more of these. Where are we going?
Bumpus Local 349.
Yay! I love Bumpus Local 349. It's a local business.
I wish they had piñatas.
Me too. But I think I'm going to order the Dolphin Reuben instead.
You know, it's not really dolphin.
Yes, it must be mahi, right?
Delicious.
Yes.
Eat local, be local, and drink local at Bumpus Local 349.
Help me with my blindfold.
Hey Tallahassee, this is Danny Eiler
and Matthew Crumbaker.
Join us for the Saturday morning bottle share every Saturday at 9:30 a.m. right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio, Tallahassee Sports Monster.
Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
I'm Kevin Wood to the Mountain West Conference's top-seeded San Diego State Aztecs survived a huge scare today in the quarterfinal game against 9th-seeded Air Force. San Diego State wins 73-60, moving 29-1 on the season, but they were down at the half, and they needed a 27-6 second-half run to pull out the win. Joe Lenardi has the Aztecs as one of his 4 number 1 seeds. They'd be the one in the East. Tomorrow in the semis, San Diego State gets the winner between UNLV and Boise State. Inside 6 weeks to go in the NBA's regular season, one question that needs to be answered: will the Houston Rockets small ball lineup be enough? They're 10-3 since going to the non-center lineup. Charles Barkley, the Hall of Famer and of TNT, told Dan Le Batard, no.
You know, Derek wants to protect his brand. He thinks he can win by shooting threes. I don't think he can. We had that one fluke year where everything worked out perfect for the Warriors, and I was wrong. And now everybody tries to do that. It only works when you got the 3 greatest shooters in NBA history. Clay, Steph, and Kevin Durant.
Rockets and Clippers coming up tonight. Game one of a national TV doubleheader.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Redemption Thursday, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. Got a do-it-yourself project that needs to be finished? Cornerstone Tool and Fastener, 1110 Stuckey Avenue in Tallahassee and 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Online at ctf.nu.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today. Oh, yeah. Good to be with you. Appreciate you joining us. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything. But, hey, if you do, go back, get caught up, because we'll post all 3 hours of the program on iTunes, where, if you like the show, we encourage you to share it with others, rate, review, and all that good stuff. We'll also post it on the website, ESPNTallahassee.com. Twitter is @JCameronShow. WTSM app, good for your mobile devices. Hello, YouTubers and folks who are tuning in, however you are. I appreciate all of you watching and listening to the program. And what a game last night. You just add to the chapter, man. Just continue to add to what has been a riveting novel this year, right? Week in and week out, Florida State basketball has kept us locked in because of that kind of toughness, right? They are endearing. That is a group that is so fun to watch and so easy to root for. And, yes, they're obviously very, very good at playing basketball, but I think this team has kind of moved into another pantheon, if you will, in terms of Florida State fandom when you rank teams that are fun to root for in your lifetime, right? Florida State, I'm assuming that I'm talking to mainly Noles, but if you are a Nole, you've loved certain years of the football program, certain years more than others of the baseball team, because it could be their personalities, it could be their flair for the dramatic, could be that they scored a ton of points, could be that they were dominating on defense, whatever it might be. And you always remember those teams. You kind of tag them, right? And we always remember the special teams. I mean, in 2013, it was a lot of fun to watch Florida State play football, and we'll forevermore love that team because they were just dominant. There were NFL guys everywhere, and it was a return to glory, and it was the revenge tour, as I called it. All of that was great. And you'll remember certain elements of that season the same way I do about 1993 when we won our first national championship, and in 99, obviously. And there have been teams before that first team and after that 2013 team even that we really liked.
Yeah, I liked 15. They played a lot of defense.
They were tough. They did.
Good defense.
They were tough, right. And so there were things about them that were endearing. Can't name any of the last 4 years as teams that I want to remember. In fact, I've flushed them from my memory. Those were putrid teams, hard to watch, not really difficult to like. In fact, I didn't like them. If they wore a different uniform, I would really hate them. But they donned the garnet and gold, so I just disliked them. That said, Florida State's had several basketball teams in the last 3 or 4 years, especially, that have been really likable for a lot of reasons. Certain guys that you just took a liking to or took a shine to, as they say. But Hamilton has created such incredible culture, and he's created such a lovable team that plays for one another. And they're mentally tough, and they're physically tough, and they play hard every night, and they play smart. They don't always play well. No team does. But they're always going to play hard. They're going to play smart. They're going to do what they can on a given night, and they represent the program outstandingly well. And so you get a culture victory last night. And this team is a lot of fun. And more than I want it for me, the fan, me, the Nole, I want it for them. And that's, again, a testament to what they've done to win us over. You want them to succeed not just for your fandom and your loyalty. You want them to succeed because you like them and you want it for them. They've created the same sort of culture amongst the fans that they have on the team.
For me, I'll tell you what I want as a fan in a game. If we need a big jump shot, I want MJ Walker taking it. That's not a new phenomenon. It's only reinforced last night, but he's the reason we win the game. I understand that Trent is the closer, but that game doesn't get anywhere near as tense as it did without MJ Walker going on his own personal 13-3 run. He hits big shots. He's not afraid to take the big shot.
Not anymore, no.
No. And it's been that way all season long. Go back to Western Carolina. He hits a huge 3 for us in that game. I thought, oh, okay. Maybe that's something to build upon to give him confidence. I didn't realize he'd have this many clutch moments in him. And I understand there's 4 or 5 by themselves last night. But if you think about MJ's entire season, the 4-point play against Syracuse, or ice-breaking 3-pointers when in the second half it feels like the game's going to get away from us, or what he did last night. And he's mixed in, too, recently in the last couple of weeks, some key drives to the basket.
I was just about to say that. That's one of the elements to his game that's improved dramatically. There are a lot of elements to his game that have improved dramatically. I've spoken about the shooting percentage. I've talked about the 3-point shots made. But you remember, in the past, one of the maddening elements to his game was that every time he went to the basket, he got stripped. He couldn't hold on to the basketball. He had some Raekwon Gray in him. But that's changed. He really is under control. He's decisive. He's developed a move to the basket to create a shot, to get a good look. Yeah, you're right.
There is no doubt that Devin Vassell is the more consistent between the two players.
Without question, yeah.
But when you need a big shot, I want 23 to have the ball right now. And I actually have pretty much the whole season. He's hit some just key shots. And the tournament, you can't be afraid. You have to have no conscience. PJ Savoy was perfect for the tournament because he could be terrible the game before. Didn't matter.
He could be terrible that night and he still take a shot.
If I'm getting the ball, I'm going to shoot the ball. If you put me on the court, I'm here to shoot the basketball.
That's correct. He knew his role really well.
And that's what MJ did last night to give us a chance, and then Trent brought us home. And how perfect is it that Trent brings us home in his last road game. Adversity in his face, right? He gets the N1, makes the free throw, which we shot great, from the line down the stretch. When we had to have it, the last 4 or 5 minutes, don't tell me when MJ was shooting 3 of them or Malik Osborne's at the line or Trent's at the line, you're not worried that at some point we're going to clank one. And we made all the ones we needed down the stretch in the second half to give us a chance. All those little details added up, and then you get Mooney fumbling the ball on the fast break, and then you get I don't know how the layup didn't go in for Prentice Hub.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But thankfully they didn't.
They didn't go. And that's indicative of the kind of team that Notre Dame has been all year. They don't win close games, ever. Good.
They found spectacular ways last night.
Oh, Mr. Bray he's hurting today. I hope he's tuned into the Jeff Cameron Show because I'm about to spend 25 minutes of talking about this win, this team, this program, where we're at, what it means, what's still left to do, what I think of this season, what's coming up. The NCAA tournament, all of it. It's a basketball hour, to be sure, and it's dominated the show's topics today, as it should. I just don't want it to get lost. I understand basketball doesn't move the numbers. We see the ratings. We understand when we're hitting on a subject that is wildly popular. We can see it in our podcast numbers. We can see it in our general ratings. We understand when these things happen. Now, luckily, I'm consistently one of the highest-rated shows in the history of Tallahassee. That doesn't change all that much, ever.
Not so humble brag.
But the truth is we see all the numbers about what works and what doesn't, and we could cater solely to really mundane topics that affect the football team and probably do better numbers on those days than when we talk about celebrated moments on the basketball court. That's changing a little bit.
Yeah, it's changed in the last few weeks. I think the general
people are on board, yeah.
We talked about this, the Tallahassee Knoll versus the general alumni in the Southeast or wherever they are in the country. Yeah. The general all around the country cares football and football only, and then, there's a small sliver that are passionate about the other sports. Tallahassee cares about all of them. But the general Knoll now, this is squarely on their radar. After Louisville last week, the people are in. I'm getting texts asking about the basketball team. That never happens for my friends in Tampa and Atlanta.
I get random people asking me about next year's team already. It's so cool. Yeah, well, let's talk about them. Let's celebrate them because it's taken a long time to get here, and you can't overdo it, in my opinion. You really can't. We've seen this thing through. All that's left is to get to the Final Four. And then hopefully win a national championship. Ultimately, that is everybody's goal. But I started with get to the tournament. Then it became make a run to the Sweet 16. We did better. We went to the Elite Eight. And then the Sweet 16 the following year. Now it's kind of like, oh, I know we're getting to the tournament. Make sure you get to the Sweet 16. And if you do, we could win the whole damn thing. It's changed the way we view basketball, and it's taken a long time to get here, and it's exciting.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
TVs for everyone. Be on the lookout for the food truck coming soon with the best lip smacking wings in town. Hobbit American Grill, celebrating 40 years of serving great food to great friends for good times. For info on their hours and 3 locations, visit them online at myhobbitonline.com.
A little peek behind the curtain for the people listening to this commercial. Before we started to talk about the goodness that is Gordo's, I asked you, is this your 20th year? And you said, oh, nay, it's the start of my 25th year.
Yes, Jeff, that is correct.
25 years. Kind of means you ought to run for something. You're kind of the unofficial mayor of Tallahassee, sir.
All I ask is that you follow us on Instagram.
We're trying to have a genuine moment here, Eddie. I'm saying that you are kind of the unofficial mayor of Tallahassee. You're a guy that everybody loves. They cross the aisle, they shake hands, they meet the great Eddie from Gordo's.
Nobody cares about that, Jeff. Follow us on Facebook.
No, Eddie, I think they do care. They care about the people who care about the community, who take care of the people who live in this community and their kids and sponsor their baseball teams and serve delicious, authentic Cuban food.
Hey, guys, if you love the food at Gordo's, please go on your favorite place and give us 5 stars. If you think it sucked, stay quiet. Don't tell anybody. Thanks. Have a great day.
I've turned you into a damn ad machine, Eddie. I'm ashamed of myself.
Drink Pepsi.
Hello, Tallahassee. This is William Barnum Floyd. We've got a lot to look forward to in 2020. A new year, a new football coach, another shot at March Madness. The stars are in alignment. So why not treat yourself to a brand new car from Kraft Nissan? It's the time of year when Uncle Sam really acts like your uncle. Don't take your hard-earned tax return to a dealership looking for a used car. You'll be sold a car with high interest rates and no warranty. I guarantee you there's a better option. Would you buy anything used if you could get it new for virtually the same price? Of course not. Go see my good friend Chris Kraft. It's a fact that their New For You program puts tons of people who may not have the best credit, into brand new cars. 3 out of 4 people who apply for Kraft's New For You program end up in new cars, and the payments are often less than you'd pay for that old used bucket. So treat yourself and your family to a new car this year. After you get your taxes done, go see the good people at Kraft Nissan. Show them what your refund is going to be, and they'll show you a new car that fits your budget. And when you get there, tell them Bar None sent you.
A Kraft Brothers dealership.
Hello, I'm Roy Parker of Parker Services Air Conditioning and Heating. I've been in this business for over 30 years and can't even begin to count the number of home comfort systems that have died way before their time. The number one reason by far is lack of maintenance. Proper maintenance will, without a doubt, add significant life to your system. That's why we at Parker Services encourage you to consider the purchase of one of our peak performance service agreements. It includes up to 28 points of service, priority service, 15% savings on services including duct cleaning and repairs, plus many other benefits. We can't make it run forever, but Parker can extend its life and improve its efficiency, which will keep you comfortable, healthy, and help lower your energy costs. And when it's time to replace your outdated system, we'll provide you with the expert guidance, the best value, and the best equipment.
222-7722. Parker Services. Comfort's just a call away.
The temperature is cool, but the DeWalt deals at Cornerstone Tool and Fastener are heating up. Before you buy a DeWalt kit somewhere else, make sure to stop by Cornerstone and check out their $100 instant rebate and ask one of their knowledgeable staff members how you can add an additional bare tool up to $150 value for free. While you're there, check out the latest DeWalt FlexVolt 60-volt technology, taking cordless to an even higher level. Cornerstone has the largest DeWalt selection in Tallahassee. 2 locations to choose from, 1110 Stuckey Ave and 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Tallahassee location open on Saturdays from 8 a.m. until noon.
Barry knows cool. He's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool. You can put him to the test.
He
People always appreciate it when you deliver on a promise and go the extra mile. When you turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air, our team would treat you like you would want to be treated. Zero interest financing and low monthly payments are available when you're approved for the Carrier credit card. Apply at baranoac.com. Florida license number CAC 1816186.
Front Row Knowles, featuring Tom Block and Keith Jones, is brought to you by Hobson Chevrolet in Cairo, Georgia. Get your best deal the Hobson way. Catch Front Row Knowles every Wednesday night at 6, right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. This is the Jeff Cameron Show. Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Have you just been kind of like I have today, all day? Like from the time you opened your eyes, skipping about, feeling like this song, smiling? Yeah. I mean, pouring coffee, smiling. Couldn't believe I forgot to do the choo-choo last night. I was so excited and went to bed. That was it. And all of a sudden, I was like, oh, I forgot to do the choo-choo. But I did it this morning. But
I was strung out this morning, not because of anything bad. It's just I was tossing and turning. My brain would not shut off. And I tried. I figured to watch the end of the Pelicans and the Mavericks game on ESPN because it went to overtime shortly after we wrapped. And I watched a little bit of SportsCenter where MJ Walker appeared with a post-game interview. I thought maybe an hour would be enough time for me to settle down and then go to sleep. Nope, not even close. So I was a little bit groggy this morning, but once I shook off the cobwebs, yeah, man, it's been a wonderful, wonderful day.
just cool realizing you're one win away and it's yours, and it's a win you should get. You'll be favored in, and they're not losing that game on Saturday. I shouldn't say that. You worry that you jinx it with the basketball gods and all that roll your eye stuff, but I mean, they're not going to lose on Trent Forrest's final home game. They're not going to lose that game.
It's just a broken record, but campaign. Be there to honor Trent Forrest. Be there. Be there early. It's a 4:30 tip. Get in your seat around 10 after 4. That should be plenty of time to see the senior day ceremony to send off the winningest Knoll in basketball program history, which would be awesome.
Yeah, it's a perfect day. It's he has really come to be a symbol for this program and all the great things in it. It's a testament to who he is as a basketball player and a human being and the work ethic and all that, and we're efforting to get him on the show for tomorrow. I don't want to jinx that, but hopefully we'll have him on the air tomorrow with us. And, one of the things that excites me most is just you love when good things happen to good people, and for him to win an ACC title before he leaves here after having done all that he has for the program seems so fitting. I don't usually throw around deserves, but I feel like, that is deserving.
Well, you felt like that for Terrence Mann. You feel like that for Forrest. And it's not to say the other guys aren't special, but it's just what they embody. And it seems like they get, they squeeze every ounce of what they have to offer to the game out of, every single night. And what Trent did last night is emblematic of his career. He follows a miss. He fights through contact twice to make the basket at crunch time, and then he gets back on defense and he cuts off the kid before his shot that nearly went in, and it looked like it was good from off his hand. Thankfully, it didn't go.
That's an interesting point to bring up, that it gets lost in the shuffle. We assume, that that shot's not going to go in. But the fact that he was the guy cutting off
Prentice Hub,
Hub, and if you think about it, if he doesn't do that, he's got another second and a half to get close to being just a long three-pointer.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
At that point. That really is huge.
Well, you can see where his mind goes. He makes the basket. He's pissed it's not an N1.
Right.
But then about a tenth of a second after he's pissed off and looking for a call, he's like, whoa, wait a minute. I've been here before.
Yeah.
It's called Clemson, and it happened on Saturday. We got to cut this guy off and stop the ball. The crazy thing is, the Prentice Hub shot looked good on the play-by-play camera, but then there's the one that FSU Hoops put out from the baseline.
Yeah.
And you have the behind the release angle. That ball literally lands on the shelf of the iron behind the rim.
Yeah.
That was really close. It was kind of like the Butler-Duke game in the national championship.
Which, when you go back and watch that shot, that thing is down. I mean, that's unreal how close that came to going in. Also to note, I know I'm not the only one, but the level of frustration shown as that ball is slammed to the floor and goes to the rafters after it is picked up. I didn't see which Notre Dame player it was, but I love how angry they are. Think about the way they've lost to Florida State this year. I mean, both times. Think about how they lost.
Both times, and then they've lost 4 or 5 games
just
akin
like
to
that. Yeah, just like that.
Apparently, the Bray thing is, legendary. I wish somebody caught it on camera.
Me too. Just slamming the headsets down and getting
for
up.
a radio interview. I mean, what are you doing, sir?
Well, I listen, yeah, I know you got to be a pro and you're paid millions of dollars, so you can't really excuse it, but I kind of get that. He has seen some really ridiculous endings to his games this year.
But the way it's described, it's almost as though he sat down to do the interview and he said, screw it. He just picked up the headset and slammed it and decided not to do the interview. That's the way the tweet was worded.
Yeah, I don't know. Listen, I'm not going to lose sleep over Mike Bray's feelings being hurt by that game.
But, come on, man.
But I got to tell you, I could see being fed up with having to talk about yet another last-second defeat. It's crazy.
Yeah, the wording of it is Mike Bray sat down for post-game radio interview, then slammed headphones down and walked off. Yeah. That's a first.
Yeah, look, he knows what's going on. They're headed to the NIT. That was it.
Oh, and he's in the hot seat. They missed it 3 years in a row.
That was it right there. That was the game.
I think they were done with Wake Forest, if you're listening to bracketology.
They were in trouble. They were in real trouble. This would have done a lot to undo that and it would have given them a chance. I don't know that they would have been in, but it would have given them a chance. And now he knows it's sealed. I mean, you can, the coffin, it's over. You're not going.
It was evil what Lenardi said about them during the game. I was laughing. I got to give
I don't think I heard
Lenardi credit when he's from his little bunker, his little nerd bunker.
Yeah.
He's like, I think they'll be hosting more home games after this one.
My favorite part was Notre Dame Twitter. You want to talk about engaging in schadenfreude. I'm glad I didn't respond to all of the slights from Notre Dame faithful. They're snooty that way, as we found out in person. But they had several people who cover that team say how scared Florida State was playing, just ridiculous adjectives.
Scared?
Yeah, one guy described Florida State as being scared. Really, sir?
Here's when those tweets happened. They wrapped up for the night, and then they leave the arena, and they realize that they walk outside to a dump of a town. And they say, my life sucks. And that's when the hate boils up.
Yeah, but no, possibly. But this was when they were up 10 late, and they started tweeting. They thought they had won the game. They thought they had won the game.
Oh, when they're up 10, 13 with 8 and a half to go, 8:40 to go.
Yeah.
That's probably because when they walked into the arena, they said, my God, I live in a dump of a town. And where can I take my frustrations out?
I'll take it out on Florida State.
And then it presented itself, and then they could take it out on Mike Bray afterwards before they left the building to go to the dump of a town they live in.
Yeah, it's got to be. I mean, if you're a Notre Dame basketball fan, you are really, really masochistic. I mean, that's tough what took place this year for them. I just think about it as if that were our team and we lost, what is that, 7 or 8 one-possession games they've lost this year?
Yeah.
At least. I think that's just in the ACC. I don't know what they did.
Oh, it's an absurd season. It really is. If it goes the way it should, which is coin flip, yeah, they're in. They're comfortably in the tournament.
Should note that is yet another on the ledger for Leonard Hamilton, his coaching staff, and these kids, victory in a one-possession game.
Oh.
And, it's...
you lead for 19 seconds.
They finally, they succumbed in a one-possession game to Clemson finally. But when you look at the gaudy numbers over the last 4 years of wins percentage for Florida State in one-possession games, overtime – they're undefeated in overtime games in that stretch. They're 9-0, I think it is. It's unreal.
What was crazy, too, is just think about when Michael Snare makes the 3 against Duke on the road. Mm-hmm. That was the first feeling of its kind for Florida State fans in I don't know how long. In my lifetime, especially since I got here from undergrad.
It's still one
you
of my
hadn't
favorite
seen
basketball moments.
Ryan Reed hit one from the corner on Super Bowl Sunday against the Tar Heels, and we lost in overtime, so it wasn't quite the same. But that was just a game changer, and then he hit 3 or 4 more before his career was over. And then you've had Dwayne Bacon's heroics at least a couple of times. You've had XRM hit some really big shots for us. You've had Trent Forrest give us how many walk-off type moments. I mean, we're kind of used to this thing now where we close games out, but it wasn't that long ago, even though it's been 8 years now. It wasn't that long ago where we didn't ever have that. Those moments where in the last minute of a game it went our way. If it did, it's because we're shooting free throws or something absurd like that.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. It got so bad for a time where when I would see other people do it, I was just leveled by envy. I would sit there and go, that must be the coolest feeling.
Yeah.
One day Florida State will hit a buzzer beater or, score in the last 2 seconds of a game to win it, and I can jump around like an idiot.
Yeah, Ian Miller's done it. Hell, Florida did it to themselves in this span.
We were out in L.A. when that happened.
That's right.
Yeah. It's crazy. It makes me laugh. But now you're right. One thing we said all day long today, and I've thought about it since I went to bed last night and since I got up this morning. That was such a program win. That was so indicative of what those kids are made of, that coaching staff, their hearts, their toughness, their mindset, their will, who Trent is as well. I mean, it's just such a culture/program win. It is so indicative of who they are. And, I was talking with Chuck Walsh this morning, the SID for basketball, and he and I go way back now. I mean, since I was doing mornings. When he first got hired, came in from Maryland. And I can't believe how long we've been kind of tied together.
Maryland, that's where he came from?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
And so I can still remember the kinds of conversations we had back when that program was awful and trying to get it to where it is now. So we often get these moments to share where we kind of celebrate, hey, how about that game last night? Or have you come down from the clouds after that win? And we were talking this morning about this team and the accomplishment, the win last night, obviously, but also just what a season it's been. And I just said to him, and I'm saying it now to everybody else, and I want to remind myself of this. Maybe I'm doing it for myself. But I thought back to the start of the season, and I thought back to what the expectations were. And I also thought about, just by definition, the cruel nature of a, tournament. And the way that, round robins work and the way that one-offs, happen.
It's not even, it's just a straight one-off.
Yeah, it's not even, you're right. And so, because I've watched it happen, we've talked about it a lot. The tournament oftentimes, the year Virginia lost 2 years ago as the number 1 seed to a 16 seed, and they got boat raced. As much as we reveled in that, and speaking of Schadenfreude, had our moment there because we hate the maddening way in which they play, and they were on display again last night, last second win over Miami. Saw that score?
Mm-hmm.
Ridiculous.
Sure did.
So that's who they are. That's
Kid
the way
fouled with 9 seconds to go.
I know. Yeah. So here's what I'll say. I did, the year that happened, take some pleasure in it. But admittedly, just the fan in me, knowing how I feel about Florida State, I did feel for them. I kind of thought that's not right because it's not emblematic of the season they just had. It's not even close. They had a 30-plus win team.
Well, and that's the only thing the casual sports fan who doesn't check into college basketball will know about the entire season.
Right, and they had a ton of great wins.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a ton of amazing victories that year. They really have had a hell of a 3-year run here. And I knew that all they were going to hear about from that time to the time they went back to the tournament last year was how they lost that game. It was as if they had played no other games at all in the last 3 years.
So I was in a place north side of town that night. It wasn't an official watch party or anything for that game. And actually, Mike Martin Jr. was there that night as well. And a lot of people were there to watch the Noles. A lot of people were. But not everybody, not by a long shot. I'd say it's probably 70-30 Nole fans to just people being at this place. Yeah. When Virginia goes down, everybody in that building is watching. Well, yeah, but they're all watching it, too.
Stunned, yeah.
They're all locked in.
It was history.
And a lot of people didn't give a damn about the tournament. But it was big enough that it transcended everything that happened that night, including the eventual game that we played when we, stopped Mizzou.
Yeah, and that's the part that's so difficult because you can put together these magical moments, and Florida State's put together a series of them this season. If you're just looking at this year. Again, they're the only undefeated home team in the ACC. Just start with that. They're going to win the ACC, the regular season. They've never done it before. That doesn't go away if you get bounced early in the tournament. You did that. It happened. They're going to put a banner up. It's going to count. The the Louisville atmosphere, that game, that second half, that run of about 15 minutes that you just felt like you were floating on air, the buzz, the feeling, the energy in the crowd that night, that doesn't go away and that experience doesn't change because you lose early in the NCAA tournament. And so when I was saying this to Chuck, I realized that when you say that out loud, it sounds an awful lot like preemptive excuse making. It sounds an awful lot like you're setting yourself up in case you lose. And it's a loser's mentality. But the players don't feel that way, and the coaches don't think that way. And it's just me. It's just my way of protecting myself in a weird way. I get that. But it's also true. It's also true because there's a distinct possibility they will lose before they get to the Elite Eight. It's just the percentages. I mean, it's hard to get there.
Well, yeah, there was a graphic on SVP SportsCenter last night. I'm sure it's been used across the board because it's just a stat that anybody can find. But it shows 1 through 4 seeds, right? And when they play each other, especially the 2 through 4s, when they play each other in an Elite Eight matchup, and you get a cross matches, 1-3 or 2 3s and 1 4s, it's about a coin flip when they play in the tournament. But the path to the Elite Eight, when that matchup would occur, you are 3 times more likely to make the Elite Eight when you're a 2 seed than you are when you're a 4 seed. It's a 46% hit rate if you're a 2 seed and you get your draw that you're going to make at least the Elite Eight. It's 15% if you're a 4 seed. So you want to get on that seed line, but the problem is once you get to that point, it's anybody's game. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that you're a 1-4, still a coin flip, 2-3, still a coin flip. But if you're looking for the path, and if you're looking for reasons to care about even the game on Saturday, beyond the obvious for the ACC regular season, or style points at the ACC tournament coming up next week, when you are a 2 seed, you have a much, much higher percentage chance of making the Elite Eight. But the funny thing is, it's still only 46%. It's less than half the time you're going to make the Elite Eight as a 2 seed.
So you're going to make the Elite Eight. That's exactly right. It's just, and so many things happen in tournaments that are out of your control. You could go play really well. You could go up there, you could play in a tournament and you don't turn it over. You shoot a high percentage. You make your free throws. Play, you hustle. Obviously, this team always plays hard. I have no worries about that ever. But let's just say you do everything that you would ask your kids to do. It takes one guy to have a career night.
How many games did we win when we went on the Elite Eight run in the regular season? Low 20s, right? Yeah. But then we oust a number 1 seed.
Yeah.
And that's how we get there. We beat Gonzaga. They didn't see that coming.
And we got hot late to do it in that game.
And we also got right defensively out of nowhere. We weren't that team.
No, we weren't. But that team put it together at just the right time, and it was our turn to surprise a lot of people and upset teams who had better seasons than Florida State had. It happens all the time. It's why we love the tournament. It's one of the many reasons we love that tournament is how unpredictable it can be. It's not a great exercise in trying to find who the best team in America is. That's the regular season. That pretty much gives you a great template for judging who you thought day-to-day, game-to-game, week-to-week was the best team in college basketball. Now, I get it. You're never going to have a true number 1 because not everybody plays everybody. But you get what I'm saying. You see enough sample size.
For me, what Saturday is going to be about is a celebration of all of it. It's a celebration of Trent's career and then all of the memories, not just Trent gave us, but over the time that Trent played here when he was basically line 2, when he and C.J. Walker would come in as freshmen for energy and defense. And you're like, wow, who are these guys? The future is bright. Little did we know how bright the future was.
Yeah.
But you thought, wow, this is going to be awesome. But I think about the overtime games against Virginia Tech and Louisville. I mean, before this year's Louisville game, we had a classic last year against them. We lose to Duke at home on a last-second three-pointer, but that atmosphere was unbelievable. The Louisville game this year, the Purdue game in the ACC Big Ten Challenge the year before. We beat Florida a couple of times here. Obviously, we opened the season in 2018. And we blow the doors off of those kids. It was fun to watch. Just all of these moments that the basketball program has given us a reason to smile in an era where the football program is not. And,
oh, wow.
And
the timing of this couldn't be better.
And one other thing I'd offer, I don't think this is crazy to say. It's a better experience, the basketball game, than the football experience. I care more about football overall, as somebody who's a Knoll and is born and raised in Knoll.
But let's just say this. That's obviously because we're not any good in football.
But no, it's also because I'm just talking about the enjoyment experience. It's like it's on steroids because it's 2 hours. Yeah. It's all packed in, and every possession something's happening. You're happy or you're sad after every possession. Whereas in football, it's you wait 40 seconds for the next play. It's a slow build.
Watch the official blow the call, wait for the
In basketball, it's so exhausting. It is thoroughly exhausting to watch us play basketball.
I've gotten to a good place where I can calmly watch us play, even when things are going terribly wrong. I feel like I'm probably in my most zen, or at my most zen, when things are going poorly. I can summon this thing because, and I'll tell you why, and it's another testament to what they've done. They've proven to me they're not out of it. They're going to make a run. They're going to come back and get in this game.
How many ways have they done that?
Well, I mean, that's what I mean. That's really the thing to be looking at here is they've changed the narrative surrounding the program. They've changed the way that you and I and the nation and the experts that cover college basketball view them. Jay Bilas is an outright fan. In the past, you could have argued that he had something against Florida State. There was something. He wasn't a believer. I'll just put it that way. He would scoff at our resume. Even with all the wins, he'd say, I just don't think, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now he's a fan. He sees the culture they've created, the toughness they've shown, and they've recruited really good players.
Well, and he felt the energy of that night.
Right, and he went on record more than once to tell everybody about it. So the only thing I'd say is that is so cool that we now view this through a different prism. You know, I watched that program. When they're down last night, it was not looking good, obviously, and that's been a house of horrors for us. We don't play well there. We weren't playing well. Notre Dame has to have it.
Well, they're 13-17 with their 2 stars in the first half, and then they had a different kid score 10 straight.
It's nuts. You're just like, really? Okay, this is how this is going to go? Always.
They're going to shoot 55% for the game. What the hell is this?
Yeah, and so you're watching that, and you're just completely frustrated, and now you're looking big picture in your mind about how that's 2 straight losses, and we pissed it away, this opportunity, and so frustrating, right? Even with that mounting evidence that it was going the wrong way, what they've proven to me prior to the run, prior to coming all the way back and winning the game, was that I should not go to bed, I should not turn off the television, that I should sit here and watch this because there is a very good likelihood that they are in this game in the final minute with a chance to win it. That tells me everything about what they've achieved in this run because at no time were you even considering going to bed, screw it, chalk this one up to a loss. No, you thought, well, doesn't look good.
Right.
But got to start hitting shots and getting some stops. And then you just kept watching because you knew at some point they'd make a run. They do.
And this is where the style comes into play, too. Listen, I was somebody who was always a proponent of just play the junkyard dog defense. We can't do the other thing. We can't recruit to the other style. We've got to get athletes, coach them up.
But alas.
Right. How do we come back? By hitting shots left and right. I mean, we outscore them to get back into it in a sense.
Yeah.
MJ Walker obviously is the one who starts the thing and goes nuts, but every time we make a run over the course of the season, it's somebody different who powers the way. It could be Wyatt Wilkes or Anthony Polite or MJ or Trent or Devin. I mean, it's been everybody at some point this year.
We're an interesting case study right now, and I know we got to go to break, but I want to say Corey brought up a great and interesting point yesterday on Seminole Headlines. I don't know if you heard this. He said he did some research to check when was the last time a team won the NCAA championship without their leading scorer averaging at least, I think it was 13 points or 14 points. And it's like 1946. It doesn't have, or nobody ever has averaging less than 13 points, their leading scorer.
Mm-hmm.
And the last to do something akin to that was in 1946, somebody won it, and their top scorer averaged like 13.8, just under 14.
It's like Bob Knight played on that team.
Probably. Or Coach K did.
Yeah.
Like the military, didn't he play at Navy? Anyhow, so that, or Army.
How dare you?
Well, whichever one
West
it was.
Point.
West Point, that's right.
Jesus. Look at the ceiling, son.
Yeah. So that said, does that, I mean, we really would be breaking the mold here. Literally, we would be a team that is an outlier and then some because we don't have a guy that takes over games, but we do have multiple people that can.
And yet we play a fun style.
Yeah,
that's the
it's
thing.
interesting, yeah.
And that's where the atmosphere, I don't mean to say, because it'd take the no card away if somehow you rank basketball over football for any reason. I'm just, when you talk about going to a hockey game, for example.
Oh, yeah, live hockey is incredible.
The best live spectator sport. And, when you go there, especially a playoff game, you're like, it's breathtaking.
Yeah.
On television, not so much. But go to the TLC any time in the last 3 or 4 seasons, and you had the time of your life for 2 or 3 hours.
They've created a real atmosphere, a real home court advantage. You do that in multiple ways. First of all, they invested a little bit of money finally in it. And then secondly, obviously, you got to win a lot of games. That's probably first. But you got to win a lot of games, and you got to put a fun product on the floor. Listen, that experience you're describing wasn't it didn't exist during the run when we were the junkyard defense, junkyard dog defense.
You were happy about the results.
Yeah.
And the
You got
final
the
2 or
win.
3 minutes with the close games and all that.
Yeah, we were like Virginia. We were ridiculous. And I remember having this discussion on the air, like, I'll just take the wins because we didn't know anything. We hadn't won. So just winning felt good. It beat the hell out of losing, even if it was the worst possible way to win. If you talk to a Virginia fan, I doubt they complain about Tony Bennett's style. I bet they're, well, listen, we just won the national championship, and they've also rattled off 10 of 11 now.
It's a grind. It's just a grind.
That's who we are. We just, okay. The rest of us hate watching you play basketball.
Toughness, academics.
Sure. Well, I mean, that's what they would do.
1995, Florida State.
Because they win. And I get that. But, boy, is it much more fun to win the way we win. It is a lot more fun to watch it, to take it in, and to having been engaged in the transformation and see this come to where it is now is very rewarding. It's not just about this year or the upcoming NCAA tournament. It's about that being a program win last night.
I think that's where we're arriving to, is nothing lasts forever. And it's not to be defeatist about this tournament run or the future of the program or anything. But you know what? Enjoy it today and tomorrow and take a victory lap. Take a victory lap of all that we've experienced over the course of this young man's career.
Yeah.
Like I said before, it's great that Dom's getting a frame and a jersey on Saturday. That's wonderful, and he's been a lot better these last handful of games. It's nothing to sneeze at. He should be honored. But, Trent's been here for a transformation, the same way that Terrence Mann was. And maybe there's one more cherry on top in front of us. You don't know.
And by the way, if you're thinking about who is the future of the program, Dennis Gates was named the Horizon League, excuse me, I was at a loss for words there, Coach of the Year. His first year at Cleveland State.
They only improved 2 or 3 games, I think, in conference standings, but they had a great purge when the previous coach left. So what he's done with the roster he had,
a nightmare. If you go read the local articles, they talk about how he led the Vikings, to an 11-20 record, but ... restored confidence in the program. People noticed a change in culture. The Horizon teams all spoke to how much better that program was. Gates himself said that he was, honored and humbled and all of that and talked about it. But it's fascinating because when he took the job, it was such an unmitigated disaster that I worried he couldn't have success because you had players quit, you had administrators get fired, you had all these things happen. I thought, if it's too far gone, if it's in ruins, and he doesn't get it restored, he won't have the kind of resume that would allow us to consider him when Hamilton leaves. Because I would like him to be a candidate. A, believes in the culture, creates that culture there, has already instituted it, and is a recruiting Jesse.
Yeah.
So he'd be a great guy to take over for Leonard Hamilton when he moves on down the road.
Right. You've got a couple of candidates because you got CY also on staff, who's certainly young enough to assume control of every aspect of a program, and he's getting firsthand knowledge the way that Dennis did. Not as his own head coach, but
That's
still,
the thing.
It's a legitimate, but he's got a legitimate shot at that gig. The thing is, Leonard's having such a good time with this.
Sure. No, I don't think
he
he's
could
leaving
probably do
tomorrow
this
or
another
anything.
3-4 years at least.
If they won the whole thing, he'd leave. He'd call it.
You think so?
Yes, he's in it now for the run at getting to the Final Four and winning. Well, obviously the kids. He loves the kids, and that will never change. But he is now, there's nothing left for him to do but get to the Final Four at least once as a head coach, maybe win it, obviously.
But let's say he got to the Final Four this year, and that was his threshold before we actually experienced it. With what we have coming in, that's hard to walk away from.
Well, yes, and I don't think he is having fun. By the way, that is still the best GIF in the world. After last night, seeing him walk through that door, that smile on his face, it is the best. He's just, with that turtleneck, smooth as hell.
I also like how he's taken to wearing the FSU ball cap, too.
Yeah,
You see him everywhere, like the media availabilities. When he gets on the plane, he's got the black and gold lettering. He knows what's up. There is magic in those uniforms. There's magic in those things.
Believe in those black uniforms, man. They radiate. There's something. You just touch them and you're a better person.
You look at the football program with those
Not
on,
so
you say,
much.
doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
The basketball program, it just oozes victory.
It's magic. Wrapping it up momentarily. Stay tuned. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Instant rebate and ask one of their knowledgeable staff members how you can add an additional bare tool up to $150 value for free. While you're there, check out the latest DeWalt FlexVolt 60-volt technology, taking cordless to an even higher level. Cornerstone has the largest DeWalt selection in Tallahassee. 2 locations to choose from, 1110 Stuckey Ave and 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Tallahassee location open on Saturdays from 8 a.m. until noon.
During our President's Day sales event, we're celebrating our 20th year in business. Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram is now offering a 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty on all of the new car inventory. The Ram 1500 is back-to-back 2019 and 2020 Motor Trend Truck of the Year, and now comes with an exclusive 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty only at Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. And with over 100 Ram 1500s in stock, they are ready for immediate delivery. You can lease it for just $249 a month with just $19.99 down. The all-new 2020 Jeep Gladiator is the hottest Jeep in the market right now, and you can lease it for just $289 a month with just $19.99 down. And all of our Jeeps come with a 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty only at Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram on the corner of West Tennessee and Capitol Circle, where we're right on the corner and always right on the price. See dealer for details on powertrain warranty. Dealer retains all rebates and incentives. Sport package leases are 36 months with $19.88 down and 10,000 miles with approved credit.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Hey, Florida! You're 100 times better than any other fans! Oh, you think that's exciting? Well, these new X Multiplier Scratch-Offs multiply your winnings up to 100 times!
Hey, are we in a commercial?
Yeah!
Multiply the excitement with the X Multiplier Scratch-Offs, featuring over $520 million in cash prizes. The Florida Lottery. It's your ticket.
Claim it.
Must be 18 or older to play. Play responsibly.
Well, would you look at this goodness? Our friends at For the Table Hospitality are doing the right thing per usual. It's time for the 4th annual Tallahassee Wine Mixer and Mozfest. Tallahassee's best wine festival is back for another year right there in the shadow of beautiful Doak Campbell Stadium. The date is Saturday, March the 7th from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Centrale Pizza, Parm, and Bar. VIP tickets are just $60 and feature unlimited wine sampling, unlimited charcuterie, ooh, fancy, unlimited mozzarella cheese, oh, forget about it, this is good stuff, unlimited games and a commemorative glass to boot. 2020 is going to be the best Tallahassee wine mixer yet. We certainly like to thank our friends at Visit Tallahassee for all of their help. For tickets, go to eventbrite.com and search Tallahassee Wine Mixer.
Hi, I'm Jeff, founder of Which Superior Sandwiches, and I'm here to tell you about our signature witch, the Wicked. Why call it the Wicked? Some say it's wicked tasty, some say it's wicked large. One thing's for sure, with oven-roasted turkey, ham, pepperoni, roast beef, and bacon, as well as your choice of 3 cheeses, it definitely takes you from wicked hungry to wicked happy in just a few wicked good bites. Only at Which Superior Sandwiches.
On Wednesday, the Wicked is just $5. 5 meats, 3 cheeses, $5.
The madness is here. Join Tallahassee's sports monster all NCAA tournament long, from the opening tip to the cutting down of the nets, as our partners at Westwood One bring you all the heart-pounding moments.
For the win! He got it!
And madness.
Crawford's got to hurry! Up! Oh, no!
that March has to offer. The NCAA Men's Basketball Tournament on 97.9 ESPN Radio is brought to you in part by Lane's Medical Shop. Search Facebook for Lane's Medical Shop DME today. And by Lisa's Paint and Body. Choose a body shop that is working and looking out for you. Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Redemption Thursday, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. Got a do-it-yourself project that needs to be finished? Cornerstone Tool and Fastener, 1110 Stuckey Avenue in Tallahassee and 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Online at ctf.nu.
Just taking a look at my graded wagers. Whole lot of victories right there. Whole lot of wins with the salami. I was gonna say something to make you. Yeah. I got a pending wager out there too. That one can't hit until the season ends. But
That's right. Yeah, it looks better and better, doesn't it?
It does.
It was free money.
Yeah, it was free money. At minus 250. But I said, I don't care about minus 250. You're not scaring me off. I'm jumping on the train. That thing's up to minus 350 now. I jumped on at the right time.
Still do it again.
I could jump on it again. Just free money. But do we want to go with the salami again tonight?
Is there a salami in play?
Let's look at sports. First of all, it's important to do that instead of my graded wagers with my illegal gambling site. I have to now actually look up the actual sports themselves.
And you, if you need a cigar, can look up jerry'scigarshop.com.
Oh,
2910
so well
Cary Forest Parkway.
Jerry's!
2810 Scherer Road. Proud sponsors of Big Daddy J and soon to be, hopefully, once again, Probables.
Yeah, that's coming real soon. By the way, there is a nice slate tonight. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10.
It is a Thursday.
10 games. That means you'll get 2 tomorrow. Because the NHL is ridiculous. Pisses me off to no end. That said, there is a salami.
Oh, there is.
And here it is.
All right. What an impressive salami.
Home goals plus 1.5. Away goals minus a goal and a half. Home goals is plus 130 if you want to take it. Slate, sir, rapid fire before we say goodbye.
The home team
send you to the soccer guys.
Okay, the home team is the dog tonight.
That's home goals plus 105, 1.5. Yes. Okay, you ready?
I'm pulling it up so I can read along as you say.
Caps, Rangers. Rangers are the home team. Who I name second is always the home team. Here we go. Caps, Rangers, Bruins, Panthers, Penguins, Sabres, Hurricanes, Flyers, Canadians, Lightning, Islanders, Senators, Stars, Predators, Oilers, Blackhawks, Leafs, Kings, Wild, Sharks.
Take the roadies. You want the roadies tonight.
Minus a goal and a half?
Minus a goal and a half. Yes.
You feeling that?
I am, yes. That's
Red
not because
Russians,
I have to say something. It's
Red Russians, kids. We're putting it down. We're doing it. Straight bet. There we go. Just made it. Hopefully, me and Teddy and everybody, we're tilting them back. Soccer guys up next. Good job, Matthew. Good job, Tom. Say that fast. Good job, Tom.
Good job, buddy. What about me?
Army.
West
Sorry,
Point.
Coach. West Point. Always.
Bastard.
Peace.